water on the slide actually.
There we go.
Yeah. But,
So we'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we're meeting today, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation.
so he goes, I've
We
had
pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander person who's here with us today. So we'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we're meeting today, the Wurundjeri. This always was and always will be unceded. Pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander person who's here with us today. We acknowledge that this always was and always will be unceded Aboriginal land. All right. So the person, all right, I'll just go through some who are people. Liwa at the front here doing the videoing. Okay, so if you want to look good, she's the person to bribe. Okay.
We had the wheelers put the videos in fresh today.
All right. So the person, that's the official bit done. Now you just call me Stephen. Okay. Liwa at the front here doing the videoing. Toilets. Okay, so if you want a little bit of a rabbit warren, is this the person to bribe? Going through that meeting room, there's a door at the side. You go through there. The toilets. Ladies on the left. Now you just call me disabled in front. Okay. And men's on the brothers call me. Toilets. For men, a little bit of a rabbit warren. The light switches for both are on the outside of the going through that meeting room. Women, you have there's a door at the side. You go through there. The toilets. Ladies on the left. Disabled in front. Emergency exits and men's on the right. The front door where you came into Moncton Street. Men, the lights were in that meeting room, the outside of the doors, out into the foyer, which you'll see you where the toilets are, natural light, out onto on the street. Our gathering space is emergency exits just beside the signs for the front door where you came into Moncton Street. If we're in that meeting room, out into the foyer, which you'll see here where the toilets are, and out onto this building on the street. Our gathering space that is at the corner. Depending on the nature of the emergencies, if you get somebody's attention, just yell, emergency, help, and where you are. It's an easy place. You will hear me anywhere. Okay, that's what we know in this building if I speak. And then we can organise a response to that. Depending on the nature we of do the emergency, have first aid. If you get somebody's area as you go in, just on the right-hand side, and we also have an automatic help meeting room. Hopefully we don't need that today. It hasn't been tested on anybody, and then we can organise a response to that. We do have an first aid kit in the small kitchen area. As you go in, just on the right-hand side, and we also have an automatic defibrillator. Hopefully we don't need that today. It hasn't been tested on anybody.
Just like
there we go. And I'm not going to hand over to me.
On our executive committee.
I'll hand over to Lena.
Mississippi down the other end, who's also on our executive committee. Stephen is our vice chair. And the others will go after. So these are the ones that have helped just like really hard to do. So we have Adele, who is on our executive committee. We have Mississippi down the other end, who's also on our executive committee. What you're doing is really myself. Yeah, and the others will be here after. So these are the ones that have helped really hard. So what we're doing for our homeless is creating a safe space. And I want to say thank you to everyone for coming here today. Safe and what you're doing is really treat them always with dignity to our homeless. With companionship and friendship. These are ones that are on the street. So what we're doing for our homeless is we're creating a safe space. So how place where people can feel warm, really safe and respected. Today, treat them always. It's not about overwhelming at all. And it's very simple. It's just a run through homeless that are on the street and come here. Sometimes they've been lacking this kind of thing for a long time. Meet each other. So how we treat them as during isolation. Today, ask questions as we go about having over 10 minutes. It's very simple. Everything is just a run through. A few of them going to ask for you. Please ask them to slow down. No one is expected to know each other. Please understand that. We're all here to learn. We're here to prepare. Please ask questions as we go. If you have any, I have a tendency to try and cram. So a little bit about the winter shelter. It's a 3-month winter shelter. Please ask me to slow down. And it's running no one is June to know every 30th. Please understand that. So each night we're welcoming, we're here to prepare, to make sure that we're safe environment. These will be so a little bit about the winter shelter. It's a 3-month winter shelter. And it's running from the 1st of June to the 30th of August. So each night, so it's about providing a bed into a safe, warm environment. Safety. Then a space where people can just church each night of the week. They will rotate. I want to be clear, we're not here to fix, accommodate them. Okay? So it's about providing a bed, food, warm, safety. We're here to provide safe space where people can just offer respect and treat them like human beings. And quite often, I want to be clear, we're not here to fix people. We're also here to help guide them as we can. You might be able to offer them advice about other places. We're here to provide safety for them, food, offer respect, and treat them like human beings. And they quite often don't get that on the street. And we're also here to help guide shelters and churches. You might be able to offer them advice about other places they can go. If there's someone who's not receiving some of us other types of help, we can connect them with organisations. So we're hoping that some of the shelters or churches will have shelter hours to be able to support. We did spend time with them. If there's someone who's not receiving conversation with them, other types of help, we can play against them with organisations. Lots of games this year. So we're kind of different. We might sit and do that. You might sit with them and do a jigsaw puzzle. Spend time with that. That might look like sitting and having a conversation with entertainment night. So you might play a game. Other than that, it's just simply being present at the shelter. And then you might sit and do that. You might sit with them and do a jigsaw puzzle if they want to do that. Sometimes the most powerful they might want to watch a movie we do is just having some entertainment night. So without judgment. Other than that, it's just simply being present with them, and that is the ultimate word. They have you here. A code of conduct, sometimes the most powerful thing that we can do is just simply sit and listen without judgment. So I just want to go through a few of the expectations that we have, and it is really important. A code of conduct to respect. It means no judgment, no discrimination, definitely no aggressive behaviour. So I just want to go through a few of the expectations that we have, and it is really important. I don't like it. A lot of it comes down to respect. Our expectations go deeper than that, no discrimination. So as volunteers, we're representing no turning up under the influence of drugs. We are here at the warm winter shelter. We are part of a wider team. So that means that the way we speak, expectations go deeper than the way we treat people matters. So as volunteers, we expect all the volunteers to act honestly and with integrity and in the way that we teach the dignity. You are part of the wider team. So that means that the way we speak, people feel, the way we act, and the way we treat us in their background, regardless of how they expect all the volunteers to act honestly, with integrity and their religion, the dignity, sexuality, income, or any of that long list of things that go on. It means treating people fairly. It also means following the instructions regardless of how they live, how they smell, the resources, responsibly, their religion, information, sexuality, income, or any of that long list of things that go on. Working together. It also means following the instructions. Don't tolerate team leaders, using the resources, victimisation, responsibly, fraud, keeping information confidential, reporting safety issues and concerns, and working together as part of a team that puts people at risk. We don't tolerate if something doesn't feel right, discrimination, victimisation, theft, fraud, doubt, deceiver, breaches of confidentiality, which we already touched on, and or behaviour that to people in difficult situations. And if something doesn't feel right, supervisors, please speak up early, talk to doubt or Stephen, even though you're here with hands up tight and you're not expected to handle your own partnership agreement on your own. That's what we have supervisors. You will always abide by the other team members for regulations and rules as well. Even though you're here with hands up tight and you come under our umbrella, abide by the other partnership agreement with WARM. And so you will always abide by the boundaries, regulations, this is a critical space as well. So their policies. So a lot of you naturally want to help. I'm the Lord's word, abide by their guidelines, and that's a great thing. But we need to make sure that we help safely and appropriate boundaries. So this is a critical space. Not giving out. So a lot of you naturally want to help to the homeless, or our guests, as and that's a great thing. But no adding to make sure that we help safely and no meeting them outside. So it means or making not giving out line phone numbers. I will do this for you to Bahamas, or I will sort as wedding out, because a lot of time no adding them on social media, because no meeting them outside the service, or making promises like I will do this for you. We support people, but we don't take over everything out, because a lot of the time boundaries also mean. Because respecting their emotional space, please don't push people to tell you their story. So we support people, but we don't ask deeply personal questions of them. Boundaries also mean don't expect them respecting their emotional space. Please don't do that. Tell you their story, comfortable, and it's about building rapport with them. Don't ask deeply personal questions when they're ready and trust you. Don't expect them to explain why they're homeless. You have to realise that these people sleep on the street, and it's about building rapport with them during the course of that, and always in very unsafe environments out on the street, and they don't tell you easily. So it's about us treating. You have to realise that these people sleep on the street more often than not. They sleep with one eye and a friend, and in time they always in very unsafe environments out on the street. So when they don't come to the shelter, so like I said, they might not treat them with kindness. They might just want to play a game, being present. They might not be wanting to do that. They might want to just go and fall into bed because for the first time. So when they come to the shelter, like I said, they might not want to talk. They might just give you I don't want to do anything. They might not even want to do that. They might want to just go and fall into bed because for the first time in a long time, we just want to be the safest alongside them that they might have had. So they might just get here and go, I don't want to do anything. I just want to close my eyes. And we let them do that. So that kind of brings us into trauma, and we just here stand alongside them. It's about and we'll spend just a little bit of time on this. Trauma-informed care is an approach that recognises that many people carry unseen wounds. Trauma-informed and our homeless do. So it's about, they have past trauma, and we'll spend just a little bit of time on this. Trauma-informed care is an approach that recognises that many people carry unseen wounds and interact with these people. We acknowledge they have the reality that they have trauma often than not. A lot of that. It means understanding that people need support, and it adjusts how we support we don't and interact with these people. And we may acknowledge the reality that they have trauma. There's a few key principles. It means understanding that people need support and have been through physical and emotional safety comes first. And so making them feel physically safe. But there's a few key principles. to trust and transparency, which we did kind of touch on a minute ago. Physical and emotional safety comes first. Consistent, so making them feel physical, don't say nor do emotionally safe if you're not really carrying important. Trust and transparency, which we did kind of touch on a minute ago, that you want. Be clear with them. Be honest. They have been let down horribly. Be reliable. Don't say empowerment. So it's about encouraging autonomy. It's allowing them to support them to have a say about what happens in their life. They have been let down horribly alongside them. Empowerment. So it's about encouraging autonomy. Allowing them to what I said. They might to have a say about what happens in their life. It's about us standing alongside them, and we respect that. Not telling them what to do, letting them make their own decisions. So it comes back to what I said. They might not want to play that, and they might have other choices. And they may not always be the wisest choices, but it's still their choice to make. That's not ours. A really big thing about. It's about standing alongside awareness. It's about understanding how trauma, and they may not always be the wisest choices, but it's still, and that's something that we can all do away from here as well. It's about a little bit about trauma awareness. It's about understanding how trauma impacts, because everybody is different, and that's something that we can all do away from cope as well. Learn a little bit about, and there's so much information online. And then, as I said, it's about choice and collaboration. It's about involving them in their own differently. Everybody copes differently, respecting everybody reacts differently to trauma. And then, as I said, it's about choice. So, does anyone have any questions? Involving them in their own way. So, respecting trauma doesn't always look like sadness. They're not always going to sit in the corner. So, does anyone have any questions? I'm going too fast. It can often look like anger. So, silence. Trauma doesn't always look like sadness. Distrust. They're not always going to sit in the corner. They can be withdrawn. Know that they have anxiety. They're very anxious and upset. They can get frustrated. Silence. Or someone can seem they can distrust. I'm going to use. They can be withdrawn. Anxiety, very, very anxious and upset, they can get frustrated, or someone can seem. But it's easy to take that personally when they're like, I'm going to use trauma. Please don't. They don't mean anything by it. And it's not about you if they react in that way. Okay? It's just about. But it's easy to take that personally is how they are coping and reacting to the trauma. They don't mean anything by it. I think it's not about say anything that would be in that way. Think about just about understanding what you might feel how they are coping in their situation, and maybe then you might understand. I think slightly. If I could say anything, it would be think about what you might feel if you were in their situation. Instead of saying what's wrong with them, you might ask what's happened to them. And so when I go out on the street and it's the same, hi Brendan, welcome. Joining Brendan is another one of our amazing committee members. You might ask, so when we go out on the street, and so when I go out on the street and Brendan is the same, hi Brendan, welcome. Joining Brendan is another one of our amazing committee members. Don't raise your voice, so when we go out on the street, so we would approach them with kindness, and we approach them and they react, how are you, what are you, very, we never go, oh, what's your story, don't raise your voice, don't be loud, because they feel threatened. So we approach them with kindness, and they react to the way we treat them. And we never go, oh, what's your story, the same principle here in the window shower. We just sit with them, we just sit, ask them about themselves, how's your day, and it's okay to say, how long have you been on the street? Simple questions, and you can do the same principles here and always here. You just sit with them, but don't ask them about themselves. And it's okay to say, it's just how long have you been on the street? Is there, changing their thing talking about it matters. So when they come in here and they look at us and okay, I'm not going to feel threatened. I don't feel threatened. It changes changing this really important. It matters. And changing our thinking. When they come in here and they look, I don't know, I
obviously you're all here to volunteer, so you really have kindness and heart
changes their
and
thinking,
love,
and that's really
about you.
And
Changing
changing
our
our thinking
thinking
is important.
and the homeless
I don't know,
are
humiliated,
obviously you're all here to volunteer, so you
ridiculed.
really have kindness
some
and
of the
heart
things that and the
and
comments
love
that they cope with
about
on
you.
the street. There are a lot of people
It's
out
very
there that
degrading
don't,
and
and the
unlawful,
homeless
and there's a myth
humiliated.
that
The homeless are there
ridiculed
because
they're drunks,
some of the
or
things
they're
that
drug addicts,
with on the
or
street.
they want to be
It's
there,
very
or
degrading.
they're the average
And there's a
middle-aged
myth,
man with a
that
beard and a
the
beanie.
homeless are there
That is
because
so
they're
not
drunks.
or
Some
they're
of those people are out
or
there
drug
because
addicts,
they
or
might
they
be
want to
a
be
two-income
there, or
family,
they're the
great
average
money.
middle-aged
The white
man
money
with a
that
beard and a
all of a sudden you
beanie.
can't go to work.
That is so not true.
So they're down to one income.
Some of those people are out there
Some they
because
can't pay the bills.
they might have been
They
a
can't pay the
two-income
rent. They make
family
choices.
with great money.
They want to put food on the
The
table,
wife might
so
have
they
put
put
food on the
and
table,
all of a
the
sudden
rent
you
gets
can't go to
behind,
work.
and all of a sudden
So they're down to
they're
one
homeless.
income. Or they
And
might
so
be
they
a
can't
family
pay
who
rent.
are renting and the landlord decides
choices.
choices.
They want to put food on the table,
And we
so
have
they put
housing
food on the
prices.
table, the rent
And
gets
for
behind,
every house,
and all of a
there's
sudden
150 to
they're
200
homeless
people in that line.
Or
Or they might be
They
a
have
family
got
who
home,
are renting
have
and the
access
landlord
to
decides
renting
on
because
because
we
we
don't
don't
have availability.
And
So
we
that's
have
another
housing
reason
prices.
they're there.
And for every house,
You
there's
have
women
women
who
who
flee
flee
domestic
domestic
violence.
violence,
And
and
young
young
children
children
and sleep in
they
cars.
have access to
They're
rent
not because
old
we don't
men with
have
beards
availability.
and beanies.
So that's
Another
another
reason
reason
they're
who are
there.
fleeing a violent
You
situation.
have women who
for
for
the
the
safety
safety
of
of
herself
herself
and
and
her
her
children.
With young
So the
children and
myths are
sleeping
wrong. There are
cars.
kids that are fleeing
They're not
violent
violent with
homes
beards and beanies
that hit
in
the
the
streets
street
or
or
they
they
fleeing
fleeing
a
a
violent
violent
situation
situation
so they feel safer on the street.
and her children.
There's
So the myths
so
are wrong.
many
There are
reasons
kids
why
that are
people
fleeing
homeless. Violent
And just for the
homes,
record, you don't have to live on the street
that
to
hit
be
the street,
homeless either.
or
If
they
you're
couch
couch
unsafe
surfing
environments
between
so they
your
feel
friends'
safer on the
houses,
street.
you are homeless.
There's so many reasons why people
And
are homeless.
if you, and just for the record, you
are
don't have to live on the street to be
in a
homeless.
volatile
If you're couch
situation,
surfing
maybe
between
living
your
with someone
friends'
else,
houses,
you are then
you are
at
homeless.
risk of homelessness.
because
And
it's
if
not
you
your home.
are
You're living with someone else
in a
it's their
volatile
home,
situation
and
and
maybe
maybe
they
you
can
live
ask
with
you
someone
to
else.
So
You are then at
that's
risk
another
of
big part of
homelessness
homelessness
because
don't.
it's not your home. It's actually
You're
good.
living with someone else.
I
it's
think
their
in
home, and at any
the last
moment, they can
5
ask you to leave.
years, I've
So
met one person
that's another
who
big
has
part of
admitted
homelessness
to
that people
willingly
don't
being
homeless.
home. It's actually good.
I like my life.
I think
I
in
travel from state to
the
state.
last
I work
5
everywhere. I don't
years,
want a home. It
I've
ties
met
me
one
down. And that is
person
the only
who has
person in 5
admitted
years
to
that I have ever
willingly
met that is willingly
being
on the
homeless.
street. I have
I
my
like my
life.
life.
I travel from state to state. I work everywhere. I don't want a home. It ties me down. And
I've
that is
met
the
a lot
only
of people
person
on
in
the
5
street
years that I have ever met that
who
is
are in
willingly on the
crisis
street.
centres.
I have met
realised
there's not enough space, but also some of them actually don't feel safe in crisis centres.
I've met a lot of people on the
and I don't know
street
how many of you know about some
who
of the
are in
crisis
crisis
accommodations
centres.
out there.
One, because
But bad things
there's
happen to
not
people
enough
in
space,
as well.
but also
I took a
some
lady
lady
actually
before
doing
Christmas
Christmas
to a crisis centre in the city.
And I don't know how
And she
many
got
of you know about some of the
She was
crisis
going to have a
accommodation
cigarette out in the
there.
foyer, which was
But
in
bad things
the
happen to
centre,
people in here as well.
in a garden
I took a
area
lady
with other
before
people
Christmas
around
to a crisis
centre in the
centre.
city.
So,
And she got assaulted.
sometimes they don't feel
She
safe.
was going to have a cigarette out in the foyer, which was in
So,
the centre, like
in
I
a
said
garden
earlier,
area
with other people
we
around.
got and she was
build
viciously
trust.
assaulted.
So, and how do we
sometimes
do
they
that?
don't feel safe there either.
So we're going to listen to them,
And we're going to
So,
be patient with them. Some of them are
like I
gonna
said
ramble,
earlier,
and they're going to,
we've got to
you know,
build trust.
but we be patient and we just give them time.
And how do we do that?
We're going to offer them choices.
So we're going to listen to them
where we
and we're
can.
going to be
And
patient.
we do
with
that.
them. We do that on the
Some of them
street.
ramble.
We take
And
coffee,
they're going to,
but we don't give them.
but we be patient and we just
Right.
give them
We
time.
give them good coffee.
We're
We give
going
them
to
a
offer them
choice.
choices.
Would you like
Where we can.
And
Would
we
you
do
like
that.
vodka? Would
We
you
do
like
that on the
chocolate?
street.
Why do we do
We
that?
take coffee, but we don't give them.
Anybody know why we do that?
Coffee,
Because we
give them good
dignity
coffee.
back.
We give them a choice.
Give them the dignity
like
of being able to
Would you
choose.
like mocha?
Would you like hot chocolate?
Why do we do that?
Why are they any less
Does
deserving
anybody
of
know
a
why
great
we do
cup of
that?
coffee?
Why?
Because we
they
give
can't
them
afford
their
it.
dignity back. So
When
we
people
give them the
volunteer
dignity
to
of
give
being
me coffee
able
for
to
our
choose.
outreaches,
I always say, please
why
don't
are
buy
they any
coffee.
less deserving?
Please
of a
buy
cup
the
of coffee?
sachets, buy the
Because
flavoured
they can't
ones.
afford it and we
And I've
can't.
had people
So
go, oh, why would we
people
bother?
volunteer
They're
to give
just
me
homeless.
coffee for our outreaches.
That's an
I
awful
always say,
statement.
please
They're
don't
just
buy me
homeless.
cheap coffee.
But they're not just homeless.
Please buy the sachets.
They're
buy
people,
the
they're
flavoured
human
ones.
beings.
And they
have
are just
people
as
go, oh, why would we
deserving
bother?
of a good
They're
cup
just
of coffee
homeless.
as we are. They just can't afford it.
That's an awful
So
statement.
we give
They're
them
just homeless.
choice.
But they're not
And
just
we give them
homeless.
dignity with their
They're
choice.
people, they're
Most
human
of the
beings
things
that we will be able
and
to
they are
do
just as
also
deserving
going to
of a
shelter
good cup of coffee as we are. They
give
just
them
can't afford
space.
it. So
Give them
we
room
give
to
them
breathe,
choice.
don't overcrowd
And
them.
we give them dignity with their
Stay
choice.
calm.
Most of the things that
Sometimes
we'll be able to do
they can
also
get a little
in the
upset.
shelter.
Just
They
stay
can't
calm.
choice.
You give them space.
Don't
Give them room to breathe.
read
Don't
them
overcrowd them.
emotionally. Stay
because
calm.
what we
sometimes
think we see,
they
can
may
get
not
a
be
little
the
upset.
reality.
Just stay
of
calm.
what is actually going on or what we're feeling.
Don't
Read them
don't,
emotionally.
as I said earlier, take things
Because
personally.
what we
It's
think
not
we see
about you.
may not be
It's
the
not about
reality
anything
that you're doing
what is
wrong.
actually
It's
going
about
on
them
or
and
what
how they're
they're
feeling.
feeling with their trauma.
Always speak
Don't,
respectfully,
as I said earlier,
stay
take things
consistent.
personally. It's
Don't
not
be,
about you.
oh, I'm going to help
It's
you
not
about
sit with
anything
them,
that
I'll
you're
be
doing
all involved
wrong.
with
It's
them
about
today,
them and how they're
and then at the
coping
end of
with
the
their
week, you
trauma.
don't want to know them.
Always
Right.
speak respectfully.
And
Be
stay
there for them,
consistent.
100%.
Don't be,
not, oh, I'm going to help you.
sit with them, I'll be all involved with them today.
You need to
And then
know
at the end of the week, you don't want to know
this
them.
person's on this
You know,
night, I can come to them,
be there
and
for
I
them,
can trust
100%
to be reliable.
consistently, because
So,
they need consistency.
consistency
You
actually
need to
knows
know
safety.
that
This
in
person's
their
on
mind.
this night, I can come to them.
So we all
and
also
I can trust
recognise
them.
as
So
well
we need to be reliable.
that,
Trauma responses are
so,
what we call
consistency
actually builds
it's
safety.
not
something
in their
wrong
mind.
with people.
It's
So we
that
all
they're
also
adapting.
recognise
These
as well
people adapt every
that
day of their
trauma
life
responses
to
are
circumstances
what
on
we
the
call
street.
adaptations.
And it's
Not everyone is
something
having a
wrong
bad day
with people.
It's
Uh,
that
some people
adapting.
are just living
And these
a
people
really
adapt
hard
every day of their life
and
to the
that's what we have to
circumstances
remember.
on the street.
Um,
Just as important, not everyone
the
is
things we
having a
don't
bad
do,
day. We don't judge. Some
we
people
don't
are
blame.
living
are really hard.
We don't invade their private
And that's
space,
what we
as I
have to
said. Just as
We don't
important,
order or try
the things we
control
don't do.
them.
We don't judge, need them to
We
do
don't
something.
blame.
We don't invade their private
ask.
space, as I said.
We don't go, hey, you need to go here, or
We
you
don't
need to come
order
and
or
have
try
dinner.
to
We
control
go,
them. If we
Hayden's ready.
need them to do
"Do you feel
something,
like coming for dinner?
um,
Would you like to come for dinner?
we ask.
We ask. We
We
never
don't
tell,
go,
hey, you need to go
um,
here, or
so
you
that's
need to
about
come and have
having
dinner.
respect. We
and
go.
your own choice. Hayden's
We
ready.
don't
Would you like to come in for
minimise or
dinner?
dismiss
Would you like to come
something
for
that
dinner?
they're saying.
We ask. We
Because
never
while
tell.
it might not seem
Um,
important to us,
so that's about
having respect
really, really
really
important
important
to them.
So
So
we
we dismiss
don't
what they're saying.
minimise or dismiss something.
And I
that
also
they're
want to
saying.
be very
Because while it
clear
might not
that
seem important,
being
to us,
trauma
it may
informed
be really,
it
really
doesn't mean that
important
we
to them.
accept
So never need to dismiss
unsafe
what they're
behaviour.
saying.
And I
we
also want to
can
be kind, very clear
must be
that
kind,
being
but we also
trauma
have to
informed,
respect boundaries.
it doesn't
and our
mean
own
that we
boundaries
accept
for our own safety.
unsafe behaviour.
If someone does get
Uh,
aggressive, we
can be
or
kind,
threatening,
and we
or
must be
unsafe,
But we
step
also have
back,
to respect
call
boundaries
for
and have
support,
our own boundaries for
let
our
the
own
team
safety.
leaders or someone else handle it. If someone
Don't
does get
try to
aggressive,
manage it on your own.
or threatening, or always
have
say,
someone else
step back,
with you.
call for support.
In a situation like that,
let the
because
team leaders
you
or
might
someone else
need to
handle
be
it.
back up,
Don't
someone
try to
goes
manage
wrong,
it on your own. And be calm.
Just stay
Always
calm
have
because
someone
your
else
calm presence
with you.
often de-escalates the
In a
situation.
situation like that, because
But your safety
you might
matters,
need
so
to be
always,
back up if
always
something goes
remain
wrong.
safe. And at the end of the day,
And be calm. Just stay
trauma
calm because your
informed
calm
here
presence is about
often de-escalates
seeing
the
the
situation, but your
who they
safety
are,
matters. So
how they
always,
are,
always
not
remain safe.
seeing the
And at the end of the day,
trauma informed care is
privacy and
about
confidentiality.
seeing the person, who they are, how they are,
So,
not seeing.
it's an important section for all of us.
It's,
Privacy and
it
confidentiality.
applies to the guests, volunteers,
committee
So,
members, and
it's an
everything
important
that
section
happens in the
for
shelter.
us.
We
It's,
don't take people's
it
personal
applies to the
details
guests.
home, ever.
volunteers,
We do not talk about
committee members,
and
anyone's
everything that
situation
happens in
that
the
is
shelter.
in the shelter.
We don't take
and we
people's
definitely
personal
don't share their
details
stories
home,
with our
ever.
friends, our
We
family,
do not talk about
people that are not part
of the winter
anyone's
shelter service.
situation,
So
that we
it's
can
in the
talk to
shelter.
each other, because
and
they
it's
definitely
a great
don't
way
share
of
their stories
balancing
with our
with each
friends,
other.
our
But we
family.
never take
People
this
that are
outside
not
the
part
shelter of the winter
This
shelter
must
service.
remain
So
private and
we can
confidential
talk to
to
each
them.
other. It's their
Because
story.
that's
It's not
a
ours.
great way of
balancing off each other.
So we're
But we
obligated
never
both
take this
ethically
outside of the
and
shelter.
legally
This
to
must
protect their
remain
personal
private and
information at all
confidential.
times.
It's their story.
And we
It's
must
not
do
ours,
that.
which is why I'm saying we don't take it out.
So
If
we're
someone tells you
obligated
something
both
personal
ethically and
that
legally
doesn't
to
mean that
protect
you
their
can tell
personal
someone
information at all times.
unless it's within the
and we must
shelter
do
and
that.
you need, which is why I'm saying we
to
don't take it
debrief,
out. Or
If
it's
someone
an
tells
advice.
you something personal,
that
if
doesn't
you
mean that
hear
you can
something
tell
during
someone
the
else.
shift,
Unless
stays
it's within the shelter and you need
team channels.
to debrief.
If it's a
or get
safety
some advice
concern about them,
anyone
if
in here,
you hear
or
something
if
during the shift,
there's somebody that might
stays
have family and they
within
talk
the
about
appropriate
children,
team channels.
and it might be
If it's a safety
that they're
concern
talking
about
children,
them,
anyone in
then,
here,
or if
we need to
there's somebody
listen
that might
and
have family and they
get
talk
one of the,
about children,
committee, take
and
it up
it might be a
from the
safety
committee
concern
and
that they're
report
talking
it, because
about
anything
children.
that they tell
Then
us,
if they start
we need
telling you
to listen and
Oh,
get, you
one of
know,
the
I do this to my kid, or I
committee
do that
take
to
it
my
up
kid.
from the
Do
committee.
you kind of need to say to
because
them,
anything
look,
that they tell
do you
us,
understand that you
if
won't
they
tell
start
me
telling
something that
you,
involves a child,
and
you know, I do this to my kid, or I did
if
that
there's
to my
something that's
kid,
inappropriate,
do you kind of need to
legally
say to
obliged to
them,
report it?
look,
because
do
we
you
are.
understand
So
that you
you
won't tell
must
me
give them
something
the
that involves a
opportunity to
child,
stop talking
and
about that
if
instance.
so that's, we
If
don't
there's
have
children
children
here,
inappropriate, I
but
am
people that
legally
come to the
obliged to
shelter
report it.
may have
Because we
children,
are.
or
So
have
you must
been
give
part
them
of
the
the family,
opportunity then to
and
stop
things
talking
might have
about
happened,
that
and
instance.
so
that's,
we
don't
need to
have
let
children
them know
here,
before you tell me
but
anything
people that
about
come to the
that, if
shelter,
it's anything
they
they
have
have
been
children,
illegal,
have been part of a family,
please don't
and
tell
things
us
might have
because we will
happened,
be
and
obliged to
so
report it.
we need to let them know before you tell me anything about that, if it's anything that could be illegal, or not appropriate, please don't tell us because we will be obliged to report it.
Professionals or
Brenda.
like counsellors, just wondering on that, just either volunteers can say, well, maybe will we have some?
I think we've actually got some, we do have some students. I'm certainly trained in mental health, but I think that Moss are probably, I think we could look at whether Moss have someone that our
we've actually
team
got
can
some, we do have some
students. I'm certainly trained in someone health, but I think that Moss are probably, I think they're going to have someone that our team can debrief. I think we were talking about that.
While there is,
Someone-
not necessarily you can be certain that anybody in the shelter at any
Yeah, I
time
think they're going to get
is
someone in.
mental health professional. While there is people who are necessarily you can mental health first aid body in the shelter trained time is first aid trained. Some of us mental health have a professional background in that space. People who are mental health first aid trained, that type of thing, first aid trained, anything else. Some of us have there are places, and if you're interested in space, doing any training in that, if you can speak with a chance on the committee, we can see what we can do about pushing that into place. There are places, and if you're interested in doing any training in that, if you can speak with it's really one of us on the committee, we can really see what grassroots volunteers for people, providing support and care. But if there's a need to refer, as Lena was saying, through Moss, really referral agencies of places that really are grassroots volunteer, be reporting back, providing so they will be people who, if there's a need to refer, We will, through some form of referral agencies of places that send us to another agency, that we can be reporting back to them. So they will be people who already have some form
That's
of
okay, no, thank you, Stephen, I appreciate that.
connection with another agency.
So we don't gossip
We can, you know,
and
move
we
the
don't
message back
discuss
forward.
the guests after shift unless it's amongst our. That's okay, no, thank you, Stephen,
And
I
we don't
appreciate that.
take their pain.
So we don't
home with us.
gossip and
We don't
on discuss the guests after shift unless it's amongst our.
If
And
someone
we don't
who
take
goes home
their
cries at
pain
night because I've left
home
them
with
on the
us.
street in the cold,
We
but
don't
we try not to take home
and
their
I know
trauma
that that's
and their
really
pain.
hard not
So
to do.
it's really good
If
at the end of
someone
your
like
shift,
me
who
who
goes
go
home
home,
cries at night
get
because
together
I've
as
left them on the
group
street in the
who is
cold.
on shift
But we
and
try
debrief
not to
with
take
each other
home their
to make
trauma
sure
and
that
their
if
pain.
anything's
So
happened,
it's
you're not
really
going to
good
take
at
that
the end
home
of your
with you.
shift.
And
And you may
go
have a
home,
really crazy
get
night,
together
sit
as
down
a
in
group
your night if you're on
whoever's
the
on shift
and have nothing
debrief
happen
with each
or they
other
might just get
to
up
make
and have a
sure
cup
that
of coffee.
if anything's
But
happened,
somebody
you're not
may
going to
talk
take
to
that
you
home
and
with
I don't
you.
want you to take
And you may
that
have a
home.
really crazy
You
night,
must
sit down,
debrief
with
with
your
your
team
you're on a night
and
shift
leave it at the
and
shelter
have nothing
because
to
they
happen.
have
Or
support
they might just get
services
up and have a cup
that
of
are
coffee.
helping them.
But somebody may
So,
talk
and
to you and
I don't
ask
want
you
you
to
to
take
during
that
the shift,
home
but we
with
don't
you.
take
You
us
must
debrief with
trauma.
your team
Because
and
that
leave
can
it at
happen.
the shelter
We can
because
take
they
on
have
people's
support
trauma
services
that are helping them.
So, like I said earlier, it's
And
just
that's
really all
not
about
us. We help
trust.
them during the shift, but we don't
They
take
just
away
need to
their
know
trauma.
that we're bringing them into
Because
a
that can
safe
happen.
space.
We can take on people's trauma.
And part of being safe
So,
is that they
like I said
know
earlier,
that
it's
it's just
personal
really all about
information
trust.
It's not be kept.
They just need to know that we're bringing them into
and
a safe space. And part of being safe is that they know that their personal information
and
filming
is going to be kept
have to be really clear on
this
this.
all over the place.
Because
there's
there's
no
no
grey
grey
area.
area. About is
We
media
do not
photos, filming, photograph, record.
have to be
people
really clear on
experiencing
this.
homelessness, who are our guests
Because there's
in the
no
shelter.
grey area. We do
Ever.
not.
Film,
The only
photograph,
ones that would ever do
record
that
people
experiencing
experiencing homelessness
perhaps with
who are our
consent
guests
of
of
our
our
guests
guests would be the likes of Adele
ever.
or the
The
committee
only
members.
ones that would ever do
They
that
might want to
would
be
be
into the
perhaps
shelter
quite
with
often
consent
to find that
of
the guests
our
who have
guests
been to the
would
shelter
be the likes
like
of
to have
Adele
or
or
the
the committee members.
They
That's
might
okay.
want at the end of the
for
shelter
management
to
to
do
do
that,
that,
but
but
it's
it's
not
not
okay
okay
to
for
find
the
that
rest
the
of us.
guests who have been to the
Because we have
shelter
to
like
respect
to
their
have
privacy.
photographs.
So no putting them on social
And
media,
that's okay
not for
for management
awareness,
to do that, but it's
and
not okay for the rest
not
of
even
us.
for our personal
Because
use.
we have to respect their privacy. Definitely
Um,
not for
so
the memories.
no putting them on
Memories
social
and
media,
making
not for
pretend.
awareness,
And
not
and
for proof of what we're
not
doing.
even for
We
our
know what
personal
we're doing,
use.
and we will do things
definitely
and
not
film
for the
things that we're
memories.
doing and
But if you
photograph
make
things
memories,
that
you
you
make
have,
them
and that's
better.
okay amongst your team.
And
with
with
their
their
consent
consent
of what we're
but
doing.
not
We know what we're doing, and we will
So,
because
do
our
things
role
and
is doing
protect
things that
them.
we're doing and photograph things
And
and
it's
talk
really
about it,
important,
and it's
and
okay
we're
amongst
photographing
your
them,
team. And there are
with
people
their
out there that are
consent.
doing it, and they're actually shaming them. And
So,
we don't
because
want
our
to.
role is
So
to protect
we
them.
respect their privacy.
And
I
it's
think
really
if
important.
somebody
We
came to
photograph
you,
one of
and there are
them
people
and
out
said,
there that are doing it,
"Can I have my picture
shaming
of
you? And
Perhaps
perhaps
talk
talk
to
to
one
one
of
of
the
the
committee
and
and
respect their
It
privacy.
might be different,
I
but
think
we would need
if
to
somebody
get their
came to
consent
you,
down
one
in
of them,
writing
and
to say
said,
that they consent.
can I have my picture
So,
of you?
Perhaps talk
Many
to
people
one of the
have
committee
experienced
and
the trauma
it
and
might
the
be different,
shame.
but we would need to
And
get their
I've
consent
been dealing
down
up
in
with a lot of
writing
people
so
on the
that
street
they
lately
consent.
who are getting
So-
sold by a really bad person. And
Many
many
people
people
have
have experienced the trauma,
making
making fun of them.
and degrading them.
I've been dealing up with a
and
lot of people on the street
humiliating them.
lately who
And
are
we
getting
don't
filmed
want
by a
them to
really
ever,
bad
ever
person.
do that.
So
And,
they're putting it on the net,
and that's why
and
we've
making fun
chosen
of them
in the
and
shelter that we
degrading
won't
them.
do that.
And
If
you're
you're
on the
humiliating
street
them,
and you're sitting with a
and
homeless
we don't
person,
want to
and
be
they
seen
ask
to
you
ever,
to
ever do that.
Go
So,
for it.
You have there
That's
to
why
see it. We've
but
chosen
please
in the shelter that we won't do that.
If
So
you're on the
you can
street
take
and
photos
you
of
see
each
behind
other,
this person and
with
that's near
each
the
other's
photo,
consent.
Go for it.
And if you want to take a photo
Please, not in the shelter.
of the other volunteers,
just
so
us
you can take
and,
photos of each other with
It's
each
not
other's
that. If they say
consent.
no, just
And if you want to take a
don't go, "Oh,
photo
but." Just go, okay. Not a
of the other volunteers, just
this-
ask. And
I don't want my photo being taken, but there are times that
I've
they're pretty
seen
quick.
that.
If they say no, please just
Said
don't
leave
take
it
that.
today.
Don't go, oh, but. And if they
Just
say no
okay.
today,
Not a problem.
doesn't mean that tomorrow they might not want
There's-
to get their photo taken. I don't mind my photo being taken, but there are times that I'm pretty quick. Please
If,
don't.
like I said, if anything is
And if they say no
intended
today,
for social
doesn't mean
media,
that tomorrow they might not
say
want to get their
you
photo taken.
photograph Mandy. Hi Mandy. Hi Sean. If, like I said,
let
if
them know
anything is
that you're
intended
putting it on
for social
So if you
media,
are photographing
say
each other,
you photograph Mandy.
put it on social
Hi
media,
Mandy.
make
Hi
sure
Sean.
you get each other's
Um,
permission first. Because
While
they
let
might
them know
like their
that
photo
you're
taken
putting it
on social
they might
media.
not
So
want
if
it
you
on.
are photographing each
So
other,
please ask.
and you want to put it on social
Simple
media,
things that we
make
should
sure
do
you
every
get each
day
other's
as a
permission
leader
first.
anyway.
Because while they
So,
might
at
like
the
their
end of the
photo
session
taken,
here,
they
everybody
might
is
not
going to
want
be
it.
asked to sign a media consent
Um,
form.
Simple
That
things that we should
form
do every day.
acknowledges that you understand no photos or filming is to
So,
be done
at
on
the
us.
end of the session here, everybody is going
And
to be
it
asked
also
to sign
confirms
a
whether you
media consent
agree
form or
That
disagree.
form acknowledges
to
that
having
you
your
understand
own
no
image
photos
used
or filming is to be
by
done
the
on
Entertainment
us.
Hope
And it
for
also
social media
confirms
website
whether you
promotional,
agree or
disagree
purposes. So
to having
we
your
may
own
take photos
image used by the
Women's
shelter
Shelter
of everyone doing whatever they're doing. That
for social media
go
or
on
website
social
or
media.
promotional
But if you
purposes.
don't
So
want that,
we may take photos
please write
during
on the form, I do not
going to
want
shelter
my photo
of
being
everyone
used on
doing
social
whatever they're
media.
doing.
It is
and
your
that
choice. You don't have
will
to
go on social media.
But
And
if you don't want that,
now,
please
there's
write
an
an
amazing person that's
I do
come
not
on.
want my photograph used on social media.
Sean,
It
I'd
is
like to
your choice.
introduce
You don't
Sean
have to.
and his lovely partner, Mandy.
And now we're getting to the section
Now,
on
there's an amazing person
installation
that's come on.
and techniques.
Sean,
And
I'd
so
like to
Sean and
introduce
Mandy are going to come up.
Sean
Sean
and his lovely partner, Mandy.
And he's
So
going to
now
talk
we're getting
about
to the section
some of the things you
installation
you might
and want to use, am I right? Techniques.
That's right.
And so
Main
Sean and
principles
Mandy are
and
going to come up.
concepts and
Sean's
techniques shown
a
as well.
trainer.
Yeah.
What they're
He's
keeping
going
you
to
safe,
talk
as
about
opposed to
some of the
self-defence
things
per se.
techniques you might want to use, am I right?
That's right. Mainly principles and concepts, but will be some techniques shown as well.
You're all okay?
What they're keeping you
If you have
safe,
questions, you
as
can always
opposed
come and
to
ask me.
self-defence per se.
All right, I'm going to hand over to
questions for
Sean.
Sean?
Over to Sean. Was
Yes,
everyone
it's,
clear on what we talked about? You're all okay? Anyway, if you have questions, you can always come and ask me afterwards. All right, I'm going to hand over to
HDMI cable?
Sean.
Yeah. Oh. Just going to, okay.
Yeah, we'll need to take, sorry, just get us set, guys, while we just swap computers.
HDMI cable?
Oh, the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, we'll need to take, sorry, just get us set, guys, while we just swap computers. You just want to have my computer? That's the one that's
Chris is on.
I was covered Bruce's, but
Chris is on.
I was covered Bruce's.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sean. I'm here today to take you through a session on how to keep yourself safe while you're doing your volunteering, keeping yourself safe while you're out there in the big wide world. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sean. I'm here today to unpredictable situations too. A session on complex keeping yourself safe while you're doing your volunteering, keeping yourself safe while you're out there in the big wide world. Mental health issues on board, situations on board. Unpredictable situations too. There's self-concept, complex stresses we're dealing with people who life has done to them. Things haven't most of today's presentation will be about mental health issues on board, safety issues while you're out there. They're feeling frightened. Also show you their self-concept redirection type techniques. No self-defense work per se. So I'm not going to teach you how today's presentation will be about elbows, people, that kind of stuff. That's not what we're about while you're out there. They'll also show you one simple redirection type techniques. No self-defense work which we like. So I'm not going to teach you how to punch and kick. Don't feel an elbow, oh gee, he's going to get me jumping off seats and doing this kind of stuff. Not at all, no. It's just simple redirection techniques today. And perhaps if we have time, we'll show you how to escape from someone who's grabbed you. Don't feel at home, oh gee, he's going to get me jumping off seats. That shouldn't happen. Not at all. It's just simple redirection techniques today. We'll run through the slides here. We'll show you how to escape from someone who's grabbed you. Just put your hand up, fire away then, rather than wait until the end where you may. That shouldn't happen. You shouldn't be that close to people for 20 hours. We have a safe distance. So we'll run through the slides here today. If you have any questions, please just put your hand up, fire away then, rather than wait until the end where you may do somebody else if you're in a unsafe situation. That leads me to whom is your primary duty of care? Yourself, absolutely, always. You're always number one on that hierarchy of duty of care. If you're in an unsafe situation, second, that leads me to duty of care. To whom is your primary duty of care? The person's working with you. And that tertiary duty of care always the people whom you help. You're always number one on that hierarchy of order never changes. Your second, if you're out working with a colleague hierarchy, is to your colleague. For people, the person's working with you. And that tertiary duty of care is to the people number one, members of the public. Your second duty of care is to your colleague. That order never changes. Primary duty of care is to yourself. And second, so if you're out working with a colleague, so you're providing services for each other, for people, and your primary duty of care is to yourself number one. And your second duty of care is to your colleague. That optimal support. If you're not well, you're injured, you're frightened, maybe you're angry or outraged, different parts of the brain start to take over. We're sitting here nice and calm and relaxed right now. Part of the brain is dominant here. If you're not well, if you're injured, you're frightened level, maybe you're angry or outraged, different parts of the brain start to take over. If you're faced in real or perceived danger, nice and calm and relaxed right now, outraged, and part of the brain is dominant, a different part of the brain from the cortex. That's all the high level amygdala, cognitive process, fight, flight, freeze part of the brain. If you're faced in real or perceived danger, you want to have dominant, and you're angry, you're outraged, yourself, all this sort of thing, a different part of the brain starts to take over. It's fight, this personal, amygdala, this personal, there's the fight, flight, freeze part of the brain. Not a great situation. That's not so part of the brain you want to have down to actually re-engage the prefrontal cortex later on. And it gets back online, it's in favour of this person, run away from this person, freeze, get that back offline. It's not a great situation. So we'll cover some students. Talk about the 3 A's. Re-engage the prefrontal cortex later on. How to get back online, so you're aware, you assess, you take action, then you go back to being aware. That's the idea there is, don't switch off. Don't talk about the 3 A's. Have a look around, yep, this is safe, and then assessment and action. That's a loop. So you're aware, you assess, you take action, then you go back to being aware. The idea there is, don't switch off. Don't walk into situations, have a look around, yep, this is safe, and then it's safe, so here we are. Switch off. What if all of a sudden, 5 races and you're in? See, as Mr. says, very unsafe, we have to take appropriate action. So awareness assessment, it's been a risk assessment done in this session. Looping all the time. Safe, so here we are. We're going to move down. What if it was a sudden offence, which is a technique and a concept? You know that risk assessment is now unsafe. How do you stand? Appropriate action. Where do you stand in relation to the other person? Right in their face, not looping all the time, going all the time. You need to have that kind of distance. You concept called offence, which is a technique and a concept. And I'll talk about that as well. The escalation of verbal skills, stand, disengage. Where do you stand in relation to the other person? That's important too. Right in their face, not at all, too close. If you need to have that kind of distance situation, you stand judgment and be safe or stay on. The escalation of verbal skills, when to disengage. That's important too, so you know at what point you're going to leave. And how are you going to do that? What situation? You're standing, aren't you? What do I do? Also talk about law and self-defence, breathing and self-regulation, very important. That's called our risk assessment. Key takeaways, and then I'll just talk about you, so you know at what point you're going to leave. And how are you going to do that too? What's your exit strategy? Also talk about law and self-defence, breathing and self-regulation, very important there. Key takeaways, and then I'll just talk about you, pause, jumping safe, looking after yourself. Safety enables optimal support. Remember, you're not security personnel. No one's expecting you to physically try and engage with safety matters. You're not trained in that area. And delving into the area too freely or too readily can open you up to safety enables optimal support. Remember, you're not security personnel. No one's expecting you to physically try and engage with safety. But if you have a step to mark, that's why avoidance is best. And delving into the area too freely or too readily, here we go, 3 hours awareness, assessment, and action. That first day awareness has two separate components. If you have a step to mark. That's why self-awareness and situational, if you can. Both those things are very, here we go, 3 A's. Awareness, assessment, and action. Self-awareness. That first day awareness has two separate confident today. I feel self-assured today. I'm on top of the self-awareness. Fantastic situation. I really good support while being safe. Things are very, very important. But what if last night, self-awareness family became very ill? Well, you know, confident today. I feel self-assured today. I'm on top of the brain. Fantastic. I feel very, really good support while being safe. I'm not feeling great. But what if, I mean, last night, Mandy, this particular occasion, and Mandy, I'm not on top of the game today, so can you really keep my big party? I'm not really as present as I need to be. You're impatient, I'm feeling very best. Self-awareness. I'm not feeling situation awareness. I'm out working with Mandy, what's around us. And Mandy, I'm on top of the game today, so can you really keep the exit points if I need to be as present as I need to be? Not just the one exit point, where are we? I'm the best. Maybe if one's blocked off, I can't. And the situation awareness, there's no where we are, what's around us. Who's around us? Aware of what's going on. Where are the exit points if I need to get last time I was in this particular area? Not just the one exit point, where are all the others? It was summertime. Sort of one's blocked out. Nice. Lights can't get through there. Now it's the middle of July. It's dark. It's wet. It's cold. Aware of what's going on. What am I dealing with now? Who am I dealing with? This last time I was in this particular area working with these people, it was summertime. That's a situation. It's nice light. Now it's the middle of July. It's dark. It's wet. It's cold. As I said, the situations we're dealing with now. He says, don't switch off. Then take some appropriate action. What action do you take? Depends on the situation. That's a situational awareness and self-awareness. I can work here, stay here, work with these people, help them, right? As I said, the situation, do I need to assess and don't switch off, then taking appropriate action. What action do you take? Depends on the situation. How do I get out of this? It might be I can work here and stay here and work with these people, help them, right? But then something's going on. Do I need to leave? And how do I leave? What's my exit strategy? Do I do this? How do I get out of this? From here? Probably not. Do I turn and run? So you need to do, what if you're the person who's got a strategic and you get high? See, I say, I want to help. Do I do this? I don't feel safe from leaving from here. I'll be firm with that. So you need to do it in it's got a strategic rule. Aim for action. See, I say, I want to help. I don't feel safe from leaving. Option all the time is to avoid firm with physical conflict. Unless you know if you don't, you are going to become a victim. Aim for action. Your best optional approach to avoid distance is so important. Because if the person unless you don't know that you have time to assess and leave, you have to violence. Release things. I'll talk about that later on. This is why creation of distance is so important. Scan the environment. Don't walk in with the blinkers on. Have a look first. You have time to assess and leave. You have to see who's here, what's going on later on. I know those people. That person, I haven't seen them before. So there's awareness. Make sure scan the environment. Don't walk in with the blinkers on. So have a look first before you be safe. Have a look first. See who's here. What's going on with the situation. I know those people. That person, I haven't seen them before. I need to make sure I keep everyone in line of sight. So I can take appropriate action. But don't have people around you. Have people in line of sight all the time. You can't be aware of nor assess something you can't see. Then you can't take appropriate action to be safe. What's your body language? Have people around you, have people in line of sight. 70%. You've had we aware of nor assess non-verbal, something you can't see. Body language and facial expression is all part of self-awareness. Be conscious of what's your body language. Don't go down into any sort of 70% of how we communicate is non-verbal. Body language and facial expression. You go, yeah, sure you do. Stand. Be conscious of your body language. Don't get down and do any sort of closed off posture. Passively aggressive side posture. I can communicate. I can use my hands to communicate. Help you. You go, yeah, sure you do. You're standing. Calm down. What's that? Folded arms to it. But I don't want to say calm down verbally. So what's going to happen? Hands up, anyone? Hands to calm down. Hand up, calm down. What am I saying? Exactly the opposite. Don't tell me to calm down. I'm calm. See? But I don't want to say calm down verbally. I can see what I said. I want hands up, anyone who's wants to calm down. Hand up, calm down. Doing that. Exactly the opposite. Don't tell me to calm down. I'm calm. See? Part of non-verbal communication. I can see what I said. I want to help. Better ways of getting to that. 7% non-verbal, 20% tone of voice, 10% the actual words. Facial expressions. Also part of that non-verbal communication. Tone. Don't get too strong. Then we get to tone of voice. Don't raise your voice. Keep it 7% non-verbal, 20% tone of voice, 10% the actual words. 10% the actual words. So it's so important to be aware of your tone. Don't get too strident today in the 21st century. Don't raise your voice. Keep it. Those numbers apply. They also apply at level. 1 million years per second. That's important. And 10% the actual words. So back then, when language hadn't been really developed, weirdly enough, even today in the 21st century, were determining this by. They also applied 1 million years per second for the body language of this person. But back then, when language started to develop into sounds as well, when we pressed on tones, were determining tons of person's language foes. That person sounds aggressive, wasn't careful. And then the last thing, 10% words, as words started to develop into sounds as well, when we developed last tone. So it turns out, okay, I'm safe. At this intrinsic level, we're still, a person sounds aggressive, I like them carefully. And then the last thing, 10% words, because words turn on last. Then the sounds develop, then interpreting the actual words themselves. Right intrinsic level, we're still kind of like the case. Trust your gut instinct. In terms of trust your intuition. Friends or foes. It's the old saying. If something seems too good to be true, right into that, all the way through that. So if you're in a situation, and sadly, trust your gut instinct. Trust your intuition. That reliance on the old saying. Instinct. If something seems too good to be true, your intuition has been socialised out of us. So if you're in a situation, and sadly, the shadow, you've been paranoid to be pushing modern times. That wouldn't happen. Reliance on our instincts, our instinct. Trust your gut instinct. What's happening there is you've been socialised out. Deep subconsciously, we interpret the signs and signals from the situation, which is telling you this is something's wrong here. That wouldn't happen. Something's wrong here. This person's getting too close for a reason. Trust your gut instinct. What's happening there is at a deep subconscious level, you're interpreting signs and signals from this situation, which is telling you this is something's wrong here. 1 million years, say wrong. Let's go back to 82. 1 million years BC, just to have a quiet whisper in my ear. Something was ancestor. So trust that. We'll call him. What do we call him, Mandy?
Gronk.
Gronk, sounds good. We'll call him Gronk. Let's go back to our common ancestor Gronk walking through the prehistoric jungle. And he's got his friend with him. They're both walking along. We'll call him on this path, and they come to a fork in the path. Gronk, sounds good. We'll call him Gronk. Now, which way do we go? Our common ancestor Gronk is walking through the prehistoric jungle. Do we get right? And he's got his friend says, they're both walking along. Should go right on this path, and they come to a fork. Gronk's standing thinking about that. And instead of down which way, 15 metres down that right-hand path. Gronk says, do we go left? Do we go right? I'm not sure. And the friend says, I think we should go right. There's no wind today. So Gronk's standing thinking about that path. I'm now at 15 metres down that right-hand path, and Gronk's friend says, I can't see, jumping in shadows. He was rusty. I'm going this way. But hang on, Gronk says, I don't think it's a good idea. So I don't feel good about that path. I'm going this way. And Gronk's friend says, Gronk, heads off down the shadows and path. I'm going this way. A friend goes down the right-hand path. I don't think it's a good idea. 15 metres in, where those leaves. His friend says, I'm going this way. Stay. As he gets adjacent to Gronk, heads off down that left-hand path. Out comes a cave bear. The friend goes down the right-hand path. End of the story. 15 metres in. Gronk did. Fantastic. Stay. Gronk got home. As he gets adjacent, this is Gronk. Out comes a cave bear, chomps him up, eats that little Gronk heads. End of story. Didn't trust him. Gronk's going. And we're their descendants. We made fantastic. Because our ancestors got home. Back to them. This is Gronk. And stay alert, don't switch off, be complacent, very important there. And we're their descendants, we made it. Because when I run self-defense sessions, I ask people, so important to do that. What do you think makes a person stay alert, don't switch off, or be complacent, very important there, in the eyes of the perpetrator? When I run self-defense sessions, I ask people to switch off. What do you think makes a person switched off? That's why it's so important. in your role, they're looking for a feel out where sometimes switched off. To make sure you're switched on all the time. Not listening. Through their playlist, but looks at body language, what's so important, in your role, what's going on here. Things that you're feel out, make them say what's right. To make sure you are switched on right time. I'm going to put my exit strategy into place. Stay alert, stay aware. Look for body language. To listen to tones of voice. What's going on here? Things don't quite right. Assessment. So don't throw awareness now into assessment. Right now, there's some points there to consider. I'm going to put my exit strategy into place.
Is there a threat?
How immediate is that threat? So assessment. Someone's don't go through awareness now into assessment. There's some points there to consider. De-escalate the situation without going.
Is there a threat?
Do so. How immediate is that threat? Being safe. Is it just someone's a little bit heightened and maybe... Is there anything here which could be used as a... to de-escalate the situation without going higher? That's right. Do so. If you can just use the words and safe. The word weapon there for a reason. So I say, is there anything here which could be used as a... knives, machetes and bats and potential tools of violence? But if I expand your perception... I haven't used the words word weapon there for violence. Now we're thinking about a weapon. We think of knives and machetes and bats and guns and all these sorts of things. But if I expand your perception to include potential tools of violence, it was. Now we think it was a potential tool of violence, and still is because it's a cup. Yes, violence in here. Drink containers, books, mobile phone, a pen. Is that a hot drink? It's a piercing instrument, isn't it? It was. So it was a potential tool of violence. Absolutely. And first it could be the potential tool of violence, depending upon their mental state, their books, their anger, whatever it might be. Mobile phone, a pen. Their degree of substance abuse should that piercing instrument, isn't it? We can't be sure, we don't know. Unless we really use our power. Absolutely. The person could be the potential tool of violence, depending upon their mental state, their level of aggression, their anger, whatever might be going on. Their degree of substance abuse, should that be on board as well? We can't be sure, we don't know. Unless we really use our powers of observation very, very carefully. Boots, yes. Boots. Anything could be a potential tool of violence in the hands of a person who has an intent to hurt us. So stand, look at those things, look for those things. It doesn't mean you've got to say, okay, I'm not entering the situation until that phone's put away and the cup's put down and the bowl's over there who has an intent to hurt us. But you can be at least conscious of where those things are. It doesn't mean you've got to say, okay, I'm not entering the situation until that phone's put away and the cup's put down and the bowl's over there. No, of course not. Should I put my but you can be at least conscious of where those things are. And if someone's getting into that very carefully and moving towards that, bring that attention awareness level up to a level of alertness well in time to start to consider, should I put my exit strategy in place out there? We're aware of that very carefully. Let's be alert about it. We're an awareness level up to an umbrella of alertness. That's high, isn't it? Let's raise the issue a bit further. We're aware of it. We're dealing with individuals or several people. We're aware of that. But let's change things current. At the moment, it's an individual and an umbrella. But then some other people turn up. Okay, so now it's successful with working with my individual. But we're dealing with individuals or several people. Variables on board. That can change things current. At the moment, it's an individual. But then some other people turn up. Okay, so they're showing signs of being heightened or aggressive individual or substance abuse. So what are some signs of someone being heightened? Are people there now?
They're agitated, they're moving their arms about.
Yeah. Are they showing signs of being heightened or aggressive, pacing back substance abuse? So what are some signs of some eyes out? Have a quick look. Are those pupils dilated or are they normal size?
Moving their arms about.
Yeah, that's right. Agitated, moving around. Maybe they're pacing back and forwards or mumbling. Check people's eyes out, have a quick look. Are those pupils dilated or are they normal size? Someone is heightened. There has been an adrenaline dump from the cause of that. When that adrenaline doesn't occur, a number of things happen to us. They dilate cognitive level, on the physiological level. There has physiological adrenaline to dump. Adrenaline gets dumped as that. When that adrenaline is faster, it's stronger. A number of things happen to us. We get tunnel vision on a physiological level. On a physiological level, what is tunnel vision? Adrenaline gets dumped out. You might perceive as a threat and can't see what else is going on. So we make sure that's strong. That doesn't occur. Your perception of vision, time, of distance, of space, all these things change. Because tunnel vision has a regular person who might perceive blood pressure up, heart rate's up, cortisol levels increase, epinephrine, all these perception of time, of distance, of space, and all these things change. From a cognitive point of view, a different brain takes up, blood pressure's up, heart rate's up, cortisol levels increase, epinephrine, which is not good. All these make sure it doesn't happen. You get that prefrontal cortex back on. And as I said before, from a cognitive point of view, when you've been in a room takes over, troubling situation, and you froze. Yep, which is not good. We need to make sure it doesn't. Let me get you off the hook. Pardon me. By the way, did not freeze. Anyone in the room who's been in a really troubling situation and you froze? Is it a deep Yep. Level, we understand. The predators chase you off the prey. Pardon me. You did not freeze from fear. Today I want to take you froze because the adrenaline rush was in a deep, just for a couple of minutes. Level, we understand that predators chase moving prey. It's taken all the way back. Teacher starts the projector. Today I want to take real to real. You're going to watch us high school for a second. That's for a show. You did it the other day. That's sitting in the classroom. So the teacher starts he's talking. It's taken all the way back. Teacher starts the projector. Credits roll. Real to real in the scene. That's a big waterhole. The other day. That's in Africa. So here's David Attenborough, and down to the waterhole come a whole herd of them who can't be. Those little credits roll, and they're down in the little faces in the water having a drink. It's a big waterhole looking around, they're kind of like in Africa. And then the camera pans across. And down to the waterhole come a whole long surveillance of small deer. And in that, when they're down there, little faces in the water having a drink. A couple of them are standing there looking around, they're kind of like years. And then the camera pans across. Lioness, and she's come down. She's long savannah grass. She's looking, she's watching. And in that place, out she goes. She jumps over the grass, running toward the okapi. They steer the line, coming out turn. It's the lioness. She's come down. She wants to have a nibble. A couple she's looking, she's watching, she's standing rooted at the spot. Out she goes. She jumps over the grass, running toward the okapi. They steer the line, coming out turn. Ones that are moving, correct. Otherwise, predators chase moving prey. A couple. So standing rooted to the spot. Frozen in that situation. It wasn't fear. Which ones does she? Your highly tuned survival mechanism. Adrenaline dump. Ones that are moving, correct. That's all predators chase moving prey, and we get that. So when you have frozen in that situation, military, police and so that's why they do so much adrenaline dump training so they can prevent the overbearing effects of the adrenaline dump themselves. Let's mitigate its result. This is why fine motor skills, military, police and so on, that's why they do so much situational training so they can prevent the overbearing effects of the adrenaline dump themselves. Let's mitigate its result. They don't lose their fine motor skills, they have normal operational function even though they've had that ability to think strategically, stays, retain that, and then what about exit options? Exit options retain a normal operational function even though they've had that risk assessment. So what do you put in your risk assessment? You've got, and then what about exit options? General one as opposed to exit options. Dealing with John Smith. It goes down to a general one. I think I mentioned before about we've got their risk assessment. So what do you put in your risk assessment? Should we need to? You've got things like, and this could be a general one as opposed to a specific one. Dealing with John Smith, substance abuse, a general one, aggressive behaviour, mental health. I've got there all the time on board. I need to have those considerations already in my risk assessment. So I can have. Does this plan A? Is there a history of violence? So I can have my plan B. Substance abuse. That's all we want. Plan A and Plan B. Plan B becomes Plan A risk assessment, not work. So I can have my Plan A. Not to have Plan A. So I can have my Plan B, D, E, and F. That's all we want. Too many options. Plan B. Way too many options. You end up suffering from what's called paralysis from analysis. So which one do I want to have? Plan A, B, C, D, E, and F. For all little kids, too many options. Way too many options. Mum's taken us down to the end up suffering from what's called, and she walks in the lolly shop and stands, all these sweets there, oh man, this is fantastic, all these lollies, this is great. Mum says yes, and you can only choose. We're all little kids again. What? I can only choose one. Down to the lolly shop. Look at them all. And she walks in the lolly shop and stands, all these sweets there, oh man, this is fantastic, all these lollies, this is great. Mum says yes, and you can only choose. You can only have a cherry or a Mars bar. I can only choose one. Okay. But Mum, look at them all. She made it easy. Mum's being very astute. Options. Okay, I'll make this same thing. You can only have a cherry ripe or a Mars bar. Also, okay, that should be cherry ripe. Your exit strategy give me only two. But just as importantly as that, what plan A and Plan B for you to put that exit risk assessment into place. Also, in that risk assessment should be your exit strategy, 6-step ladder of aggression. That what starts with level 1 before you nice and calm and relaxed, and then graduate step by step up to level 6, where the concept called the 6-step ladder of aggression. Let's talk about level number 1, level 3 is relaxed, then it graduates step by step up to level 6, where they're physically violent. Level 4 is when that verbal, let's talk about level 3 and level 4. Level 3 is verbally, the person is being threatened, verbally hostile. So if you're thinking, when my strategies in place, level 4 is when that verbal is on. I'd say, hey, turn to verbally, bit about it, at threat 3, and start putting if you're placing level 3.5 before it gets verbally threatened. Verbal threats can become a physical action. I'd say that. Start thinking People use that verbal aggression to fire themselves, start putting it in place to language 3.5 before it gets verbally threats. We need to make that. Verbal threats can become physical, just like that. Cavalier with your safety. People use the verbal aggression to fire themselves. You don't feel for a physical action. You feel frightened. You don't know where this is going to go. It's time to start putting on extra concerns. Don't be cavalier. Don't turn and walk away. Because you can't. The moment you don't feel fear, you feel frightened. You don't know where this is going to go. It's time to start putting on extra concerns. Can't be aware of or assess something. Don't turn and walk away. Turn my back on this person. Because you can't see what's happening. The other thing is, evidence also shows that if you turn your back on an aggressive or violating those three items, escalates the level of aggression straight off and assess something you can't see. Turn my back on this person. Dehumanises you. The other thing is, evidence also shows that if you turn your back on an aggressive person, make sure you don't do that. It escalates the level of aggression straight away. Action. So the choice is there. It kind of dehumanises you. De-escalate. Use your body language. Have some kind of thing. Your verbal skills. Make sure you don't do that. Using empathy. That's something really important. Hey, I can see you're upset. I want to help. So the choice is there. How can I help you? De-escalate. If you're getting a bit agitated, your body language, this kind of thing. Your verbal skills, de-escalate. Because using it shows that you get a hyper person sit down. See you're upset. I want to help reduce the level of acceleration to getting a bit agitated. The crisis event. Try and get somebody to sit down. Sometimes people use because they're moving around to fire themselves up. Sitting down. It tends to reduce the level of wine, acceleration to the crisis event. Offer them a drink of water. People use they're not around to fire themselves up. You know, soft bottle. Get them to sit down. Offer them a drink. Don't want something being used as a missile against you. Things Scotch bourbon doesn't really matter. No. Offer them a drink of water. Create some distance. How close it is to soft bottles. You don't want something being used as a missile against you if things do go wrong. For southwards, that direction is. Create some distance. How close? There are different ranges we talk about. So we've only just met, correct? Okay. How does this make you feel, please? Yeah, of course. I'm sorry, I just want to get a natural reaction. There are different ranges we talk about. Okay, so we've agreed that we've only just met, correct? So, okay. How does one arm stand or within? That's too close. I'm sorry, I just want to get a natural reaction. Yeah. Okay, so back to we've agreed that 2 arms length, isn't that interesting? Yeah, 1 arm stand or within. Don't move whatever you do. I can't kick. You're outside kicking range as well. I've backed away. It's a good range from which to that's a good range. From here. Don't move whatever you do. My name's Sean. I'm from Hands Hearts Hope. I help you today. You're outside kicking range as well. You need some clothing, reach your food. It's a good range from which to the conversation go. Communicate with someone from a safe distance. My name's Sean. I'm from Hands Hearts Hope. I'm here to help you today. What do you need? You need some clothing, you need some food, some water, you need all that sort of thing. Get the conversation going. This is right arm, it's reaching out to the safe. This is the limb that's trying to grab me, punch me, hurt me, whatever it might be. Whichever limb is coming at you, could be a leg. This is right arm, it's reaching out to me. This is going to this activity. This is the limb that's trying to grab me, punch me, hurt me, whatever it might be. This is fan control. Whichever limb is coming at you, this range, you've got a leg. I'm in trouble here. That's the active leg. You can always come punch me, you can slap me, punch me, elbow me, kick me, knock me here. I'm in. Trauma is a problem for me. I'm in trouble here. You can back it up a little bit. And you don't have to just try and kick me, not giving me options. Oh! And probably always a problem for me. White coats range. But as I'm told to this, and you don't have to, as a contrived, and I'm sorry, I want to help out. Oh, I haven't done it, that's contrived, and I'm using my hands to white coat for that. But as I'm told, this does go to strike, I need to be able to redirect quickly move away, which I do fast. But I haven't done it in a contrived manner.
You can actually
use my hands
that you're moving your hands while you're talking and
this does go to strike, I need to be able to redirect quickly and move away, which creates a barrier, which is what I want to do. But also, I'll come to
you can actually feel that.
But also, because I'm moving my hands, it's keeping me in a relaxed posture. Yeah, because it's a subconscious barrier to what I want to do. But also, I'll come to you just a second. But also, because I'm moving my hands, it's keeping me in a relaxed demeanour, calm and relaxed. So I'm not going to be trying to talk to you and yes, does that make sense, guys? This question in the back, it's like a road. If I keep my hands moving, it keeps my demeanour calm and relaxed. Yeah, exactly the same spatial situation should apply. So if you're sitting, this question next to them, be on a slight diagonal to them, at a safe distance from them. Yeah, exactly the same spatial situation should apply. So if you're sitting next to them, be on a slight diagonal to them, Here, yeah. Situation, this section gets abbreviated very quickly.
Yeah. Look out, mate.
Yeah, I get that. Here, yeah. Situation, this section gets abbreviated very quickly.
Yeah. Look out, buddy.
Yeah, I get that. We're having a conversation. He was really big in the 80s. He was the body language guru. And there's another thing too. And maybe remembers back in the day, there's a guy whose name I used to Alan Resources. He was really big in the 80s. He was the body language workshops and seminars. And maybe remembers back in the day when we first met, I used to help people better perform at and I used to work with apply for a job. And I used to be called to run workshops and seminars how to better perform. And one of the things I used to teach people to apply a similar body language to apply for a job whom you're interacting with. You've been called into the chair at panel. Dr. Similar to and back in those days, you remember this, if you go in for an interview, body language to the person whom you're interacting with. In that little room, there's a rectangular table. Dr. Similar. One side of the table is the... And back in those days, you remember this, if you go in for an interview, there's a poor applicant that's sitting in at the other end of the table, a rectangular spotlight. It's the one at the table is the chair of panels. So it's okay, you're going to be anxious anyway, and how poor applicant sitting at the other end of the table, one is to the deer spotlight, it's the Nuremberg trials, the chair of the panel is scared witness. So it's okay, you're going to be anxious anyway, but how can we help you get suppressed and feel more comfortable? One is to adopt a similar body deal with someone out there, chair of the panel. Adopt a similar body language to them to try to get that subliminal rapport going. Unless, of course, their body language is this. Don't adopt that deal with someone. It's just going to escalate things. Adopt a similar body language to them to try to get that subliminal rapport going. Unless, so yes, it's slightly your own body language. So it's the same as adopt that standing up. It's really about being, it's just going to escalate things in a big hurry. As aware as you need to be of what's going on so you don't inadvertently put yourself into slightly your own care exposition. So it's the same as it's really about being shadows, but as aware as you need to be of what's going on so you don't inadvertently sit all the time, a clear exposition to make sure you're safe. Think back to when you first learned how to drive a car and jump at shadows. And you're in there, you're instructing dads and dads, and you're driving along, and there's stuff to do. And at the end of the session, you're exhausted. Think back to when you first learned how to drive a car, working the physical skills of driving. You're in there, and you're instructing dads and dads, and driving along. But now you can do it, and at the end of the session, you're exhausted. You've been hard working, it's muscle work, the physical skills of driving, looking through all those things without being exhausted. People, now you can do it, and it doesn't. People take up running, take up jogging to get fit. So they go their first night, they go down to the footy. It's muscle memory, it's cognitive memory too. 15 minutes do those things without being exhausted. They're exhausted. People, but they keep at it. When people take up running, take up jogging to get fit. Is it just because they go their first night, they go down to the footy ground where it might be? It's because they have 15-minute job skill of running. They're exhausted. They keep at it, and a month later they can do it nice and so how we conduct ourselves. Is it just because they become fit as well? So you're not getting home afterwards totally exhausted skill of running, cognitively and physically, from being hardwired. It's the same as how we conduct ourselves. Stay conscious, stay alert as well. So you're not getting home afterwards totally exhausted. Don't keep on practicing until you get a fight. Keep practicing until you become hardwired. Just stay conscious, stay alert, be aware. Practice things down, lose the time. Don't keep on practicing until you get it right. Keep practicing until you get it. Withdraw, don't turn your back, crowd distance. So one arm's length is, if you, obviously with these things down, friend and family, one arm's length is fine. But with someone else, yes, withdraw, don't turn your back, crowd distance. So one arm's length is, if you start to escalate, obviously with a colleague, friend or family, one arm's length is fine. Start considering those options. Cool for backups. Absolutely. As well. 2 hours risk assessment. You're never working on your own. Things start to escalate. So make sure your colleagues are strong with you too. Back further. Keep an eye on those options. Call for backup. Absolutely. 1 and 2. That's part of your risk assessment. You're never working on your own. So make sure your colleagues are strong with you too. Keep an eye on them as well. They keep an eye on you. They're initiating it. Duty care 1 and 2.
Sorry.
Yeah, and then
we have an incident.
Do you have a format for that now? The incident reports?
Yeah, to see when they see
Okay, great. Initiating it. And it's important to do your incident report on not just incidents, but also near misses. Because you need to have a record of that. Today's near miss could be tomorrow's. Okay, great. Yeah, great. And it's important to do your incident report on not just incidents, but also near misses. Reports should the groups need to have a record of that. Today's near miss could be tomorrow's. How are we handling the situation? Are we handling it not as well as we could? What's going on in this situation? We need to have a record of that so we can make sure that incident report processes our procedures are watertight in terms of your safety. How are we handling the situation? Are we handling it as well as we could? What's going on in this situation? The fence, here we go. The fence was first devised by a guy whose name is Jeff Thompson, not the cricket walking into anything blind. He's an English guy, self-defence guy. The fence, here we go. The fence was first devised by a guy whose name is Jeff Thompson. It's a technique and it's a mindset. He's an English guy. So let me take it back a moment. I met with 3 A's over there. Awareness, assessment and action. Awareness and assessment are the cognitive components of defence, and it's a mindset to get to the physical. So let me take it back a moment to 3 A's. Awareness, assessment and action. Awareness and assessment are the cognitive components of defence. It's the God complex. Then we get to the physical components of defence, which is the posture complex. Let's get back up here. Hallelujah, pass the plate up here. Amen. I'm standing here at the fence. I'll start from the ground and I'll work my way up. So first up, where are my feet? Pass the plate. My feet need to be slightly apart so I can maintain balance. But if I have my feet standing here at this fence, so they're so I'll start from the ground and the person I'm dealing with. Push it first up. Where are my feet? My feet need to be slightly apart so I have to take a step back to regain my balance. Just this position so they're so I'll be very aggressive. And the person whom I'm dealing with pushes me because there's no structure so I have to take a step back to regain my balance. And there's no wasting time in front of someone who's behaving along. I stop, just assaulted. That's it. Left foot, so I need to have my feet structure so I can. Left foot, right foot. Heel and toe line. That way I've got balance. If I'm walking along, my back foot is slightly, that heel is slightly off the ground. Left foot, that's so I can right foot. Push off that back foot to left foot if I have to. Right foot, don't be stepping. Heel and toe line. That way I've got balance. Now, back foot is slightly, back heel is slightly off the ground. Straight. That's so like that. You then push off that back foot to move. Again, don't be stepping time. You push your legs slightly. Hands in front of your body, knees sliced. Don't have your legs teach us self-defense. If you do that, and then aggressive legs to move. Again, you're wasting time. Teach, have the legs self-defense. Hands in front of your palms facing your legs. But in your situation, self-defense kind of fence, which I also teach people within their space of disability support. I teach disability support, I call it self-defense fence, which is this posture, the last posture the person. But in your situation, I saw before that was fence, which I also teach within their space of disability support. I don't disability support workers. It's how then, because that's posture, your last posture is the person we're dealing with, saw before they were struck. Also, provides could be a visual support that blows inadvertently set someone off. I don't do that. It's how then to satisfy my more supplication type posture with the hands. It's all nice. Also, if someone tries to strike me with the left hand, or with their right hand, sorry, I do that. It's my aggressive fence there. I do that comes more supplication type posture with the hands. It's a massive difference in terms of that. If someone tries to strike me with the left hand, or with their right hand, sorry, I do that. Body aggressive fence there, I do that. It's no difference so that you're safe, but there's a massive difference in terms of that 70% of how I present places of trauma, of violence, or body language. Because a lot of the people set your body language up so that you're safe, but you're not presenting as aggressive. Being absorbed by the aggressive person might come from a place of trauma, or violence, or this living. Because a lot of the people who also, they're getting upgraded in this situation. Can be praying upon them too. They're being ignored by them in the public, down upon this poor person sleeping in a tree in a park. Metaphorically, if not literally. Who knows who's going to come and say the Father, Peter in this situation. But be praying upon them too. The other folks can be praying in terms of too. This poor person sleeping in a tree in a park. Who's going to come in and try and get a farm out there? Textual space. We're going to do a little exercise now. Not the homes. We're going to do some sparring. No, we're not. But I want to have you on break textual space. Go to space. We're going to do this little exercise now. We're going to do some sparring. So let's get to stand back to it. But I want to have you on break up in the pairs. Now, go from space. This is not just heard me a few times. So then, right hand. So here's man's right hand. She's going to hold it. Now, in reference, the learning purposes, the arm is going to be established. This is not going to hurt me. It's coming at you at a rate of knots. It could be a fist, could be an open hand. Right hand, that's it. That's right. Hold it. Here's man's right hand coming out. She's going to hold it. Now, in reality, the learning purposes, I've got to step. The arm is going to be step. My left foot. In reality, it's coming at you at a rate of knots. Didn't work too well. If I push it, hold it. What's the matter if you get smacked in the face again? Hold it. Step. I just step with my left foot. Mandy's loving this, believe me, it didn't work too well. If I push it. So what's going to smack in the face again? First, I want you to imagine that we're standing. Mandy's loving this, we're standing on a flattened out analog clock. Mandy's standing. If I just first, let's establish a relationship here. I want you to imagine that we're standing. This is not because we're standing on a flattened out analog clock. We've already agreed on that. Mandy's standing at 12 o'clock. Mandy's standing at 6 o'clock. Remember, clock I'm directly in front. Not in place to be aggressive. This is not because I've walked up and stood in front. No, because that's confrontation. So I need to get my agreed on that. I need to move to 9 o'clock. But Mandy did 9 o'clock. Remember, but if I just stepped to 9 o'clock. And I'm saying aggressive moment has decided to step with my left foot to 9 o'clock. So I need to get I need to move again to 9 o'clock. However, 9 o'clock. If I push off the back foot, you'll see I end up over here. If I step with my left foot to 9 o'clock. Structure every time. However, if I push off the back foot, it's not fair. I end up over here. So the hands here. Now let's get to stand with that. Just so you see what times or what happened there. So when I simply step, it's not fair. If I push off for the back foot, so the hands here, yeah, of course the hands, just so you see what the difference of what happens doing this. So when I simply step, it's like I've caught a ball. If I push off for the back foot and I've moved away, I'm out here. So yeah, of course the hands have to come into play too. So remember the hands are doing this. So when I'm there, if I have to step, it's like I've caught a ball and assess to a state move away. To my at least 2 arms lengths away. Just 2 might be insufficient. Man, just behave aggressively. I don't want to crack more distance. We're going to work this assess to a state where I go. So first up, man is the aggressive person, so I need to establish, I better be doing something because I'm 1 arm's length away, this is dangerous. Yep, right here. If I'm back here, we're going to work this. I'm trying to de-escalate. So first up, man is the aggressive person, so I need to establish. It's too late for me. I better be doing something because I'm 1 arm's length away, this is dangerous. Yep. If I'm back here, I'm trying to de-escalate. Stand up, let's just do solo practice, and I'm going to it's too late for it. By the way, it's not meant to move this exercise, it's just have a bit of fun with it. So I'll stand up here, I'll get my complex going. Let's do some solo practice. And by the way, it's not meant to move this exercise, it's just have a bit of fun with it. Knees slightly bent, hands in front, palms. I'll stand up here, I'll get my complex going again up here, and back like that. That's fine. So left foot forward, right foot back, heel just off the ground a little bit, knees slightly bent. Hands in front, palms facing you. 4, 1, and back like that. 5, just stay there. And if you have room, step back with your right foot. 2, back with your left foot. But keep your hands up. 3, don't open the gate. Keep the fence up. 5, stay there. So we're going to put if you have rooms, step back with your right foot. 2, 3, keep your hands up. Don't remember. Let's work that together. Open the gate. Keep 5 times up. 1. So we're going to put that together like this. And back again. 1, 2, keep your hands up. If you have room there, let's work that together. 5 times. 1. Reset. And back again. Reset. 2. Last one. And 5. Reset. Is anyone ready? Yeah. Close it. 4. Last one. And 5. Is anyone lost?
Maybe. Do you want to come on in? Come in here. It's okay. Come on in here.
Anyone else call stuff?
Maybe. Do you want to come on in? Come in here.
Okay.
It's okay. Come on in here.
Anyone else call stuff?
Right foot, so do it just that way. Okay, so get yourself to a
Can I go the other way?
That's okay, but you'll still step with your left leg first. Because Mandy's on top of the right hand.
Yes, but I'm left-handed. Can I go the other way?
That's okay, but you'll still step with your left leg first. Because Mandy's on top of the right hand. 90% of people out there are right-handed, so I'm still with the right hand.
Yes, but I'm left-handed, so everything's in reverse for me.
So sure.
Yeah.
That leg towards
90% of people out there
No, you put your back to
So Nancy, so I'm here, so one of us the way, I need to do something. So for me, I'm just
No, you put your back to me.
and just that's all close. Everyone says that, so Nancy, so I'm here, so one of us the way, I need to do something. So for me, I'm just 1, 2, 3.
It can just be what comes next.
That's all.
It has to be something.
Everyone says that.
And it doesn't have
slide and tilt my arm away. It can just be what makes me happy. There has to be tape like that too. Your hands have to be here. So if I were to do it to you, so you go from me slide with this my arm away, making ready.
Okay, guys, partner, please. Let's work that together. What are you going to do?
So if I were to do it, I would step. So you carry that to me.
So if I did you do exactly what Sean just said, but it's the same.
Let's work that together. What are you going to do?
So I was trying to do that. But I didn't do exactly what
Absolutely,
you
guys.
just said.
Do it nice and slowly, no rushes. Absolutely, guys. Do it nice and slowly, no rushes. Welcome, guys, sit down, please. Have a seat. Have a seat, please. Keep on going. We'll do. Welcome, guys, sit down, please. Have a seat. Have a seat. Please. We'll keep on going. We'll do. Repetition is key. With someone at home, any question at all, I know it feels weird at first, it's foreign. Repetition is key. With someone at home, I always say, when I do these workshops, I always say to people, I'm going to check out the water, got the stuff. If you want to train, then it's someone who will work with you, please don't be going home tonight, when you check out the water, got the stuff there, and smooth. Many movements, someone who will work with you, but won't work on the peak side. So just practice nice and slow and smooth and smooth. You can do it and perfect with you. Many movements in static arm, then have them, but won't work on the peak side. So just practice nice and smooth. You're still doing the same thing. That's all it is. You can do it on your own and have a part. Practice repetition is key here. Self and static arm, then have them slowly bring it towards. So here's our safe distance. I talked a little bit earlier. 1.5 to 2 metres. Practice repetition is key here. Longer than a leg. You've got room to assess. And also, when you want to talk about earlier, 2 metres away from someone, 1.5 to 2 metres to one confronting them for longer than a chance of de-escalating if indeed they have started. You've got room to assess. And also, when you want 1.5 to 2 metres away from someone, they're more of a challenge increases. If you don't feel safe in them, for a much better chance of de-escalating if indeed they have started to. As I said before, we're not security personnel, we're not trained military, we're not police officers. No, they're more of the risk increases. If you don't feel safe to be heard, we're in danger. If you don't feel safe, do leave. As I said before, we're not security personnel, we're not trained military, we're not police officers, none of that kind of stuff. No one's expecting. How your colleague goes with you, we're in danger. If you don't feel safe, leave. If the situation is getting out of hand, whether there's officials.
So in the terms of
Now your colleague goes with you.
you wouldn't leave the building. You just leave the area where it's getting to a safe distance, or say if Lena is. So in the terms of the winter shelter, you wouldn't leave the building. You just leave the area where the residents can get to a safe distance, or say if Lena is the supervisor on the night.
There are 3 main zones to work.
Got an issue with
The third zone is the observation
So
zone.
when Sean says leave, she
sufficient
doesn't
distance
mean
we have reach of the other person.
No.
And you can assess or de-escalate. There are 3 main zones to work with. The third zone is the observation zone. That's where you read and sufficient distance where you have reach of the other person. And you can assess or de-escalate the area of self-defence, which I'll touch on a bit later on in case. Big time? Okay. That's where you read and you have to. So if you stand at an angle 45 degrees, that might get the area of self-defence, which I'll touch on a bit further away, much more calming presence than getting up in your face. Keep the stand at an angle 45 degrees, when this one working before I've got to 45 degrees further away, much more calming. That exercise, if I need to have another one in your face, the way I do. Keep the exit corners and tight. One exit, keep all exits visible. Moving is your safety in the situation. Because if that situation, if I need to have another space. In the corner, small room. Avoid corners and tight spaces. Movement is your safety in the situation. If you have a bad situation, spatial awareness, you keep corner people in line of sight. All those options behind you greatly reduced. That's why distance is effective to you. Because if you're too close to somebody, you can't see what's going on. It's spatial awareness. If you've got distance where you keep people in line of sight, never behind you. You can respond. That's why distance is important too. Because if you're too close to somebody, you can't see what's going on. As opposed to react. If you've got distance where you can keep everyone in line of sight, respond, react. So we use those all the time as if they mean the same thing. Diametrically opposed to response is something you do following a considered thought process. Reaction is something you do without thought. They mean the same thing. Hand in boiling water. Diametrically opposed to each other. Response is something you do following a considered thought process. Reaction is something you do without thought. So response is hand in boiling water. Follow out. This is why we don't got risk assessments. There's a lot of steps in place, policies in place. You're not cast adrift out in deep water thinking of response is something to do following a considered course. But you have to say, well, we have risk assessment. It goes to your emotional state policies in place. You're not cast adrift out in deep water thinking, oh my goodness, what do I do here? I don't know. How do we de-escalate? But you have tips up there. A calm, more emotional state as well. So when you're dealing with something who's escalated, or is in the process of doing, how do we de-escalate? There's certain goals and tips up there. A calm, don't argue with it. Tone of voice. Don't contradict them. Dealing with something, don't touch them. Don't be too close to the process of doing. Try and keep them focused on the issue at hand and the solution. Don't argue with it. Don't get yourself so immersed in it. Don't touch stuff that's like a world. Don't be too close to it. Try and keep them focused on the issue at hand and the solution to that. Don't touch. Don't get yourself so immersed in the problem itself that's like a world issue and the solution to that's really important. Keep your emotions in check. Breathe slowly. In through your nose. Think about a time when you've been in a really scary situation. Maybe you're driving home and someone's jumped an intersection, almost T-boned. Keep your emotions in check. Breathe slowly. In through your nose. Out through your mouth. Think about a time when you've been in a really scary situation. Maybe you're driving home and someone's jumped an intersection, almost T-boned. Straight away you're going to fight for it. Oh, rapid mouth breathing. That's through your nose. Rapid mouth through your nose. It's the stress response. Slow your breathing down. Straight away, slow breathing through your nose. Out through your mouth. Rapid breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is where the through your nose prefrontal cortex is functioning. Slow your breathing down. Making good decisions, sound decisions. Through your nose. Out through your mouth. Activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is where the prefrontal cortex is functioning. Making good decisions, sound decisions. fight, flight, freeze. You don't want to be there. It's wholly and solely rapid mouth, slow movements. If someone's heightened, someone's adrenaline dump comes out in a good space, the rapid movements over can start to fight, flight, freeze. You don't want to be there. Physical response from them, physical reaction from them. Slow movements, calm. If someone's heightened, I'm not saying do touch in a good space. Rapid movements can start to elicit non-threatening physical response from them, physical reaction from them. Good body language, empathy is one of the most important strategies you have. How can see upset, I see cold. I get non-threatening posture, facial expression. I've talked about that. Good body language book many years ago. Empathy is one of the most important strategies. Called verbal judo. I can see upset. All heard of judo. I get away too. So verbal judo was a really good book from many years ago. A guy whose name was George S. Thompson. Called verbal judo. George was a member of the LAPD. So he was working judo as his police mentor. His secret partner by a guy whose name was George S. Thompson. Had fantastic. George was a member of the LAPD communications back in the 70s. And listen, he was working as his police mentor, his secret partner out there in the community. Police officers who had fantastic interpersonal and just by virtue of his calming presence and such well-chosen words. George took note of that and devised his program, which he then called verbal judo. How to communicate with someone just by virtue of his calming presence and such optimised their response. George took note of that and devised his program, which he then called verbal judo. How to communicate with someone and get on respect, optimise their compassion and humanity. You've got all that already. That's why you've know that. They're great strategies to work with. Kindly. Book school respect, empathy, compassion, humanity. You've got all that already. Validate the emotion, not the behaviour. Know that. All behaviour is communication. Book school verbal judo. Behaviour is trying to communicate something. I want or a need. Verbal school validate the emotion, not the behaviour. We're only scratching the surface of what's going on. All behaviour is communication. What's going on here? What is driving this behaviour? And if you can need, that's focused on behaviour. Fantastic, scratching the surface of what's going on here. Draw more data out. What is driving this behaviour person? And if you can meet that, that's very much like Andrew, to meet that, fantastic. The behaviour should build those good, strong professional training out and have strong personal relationship with this person. Set behavioural boundaries early. It's very much like Andrew, consistent relationships. Don't have someone stand there yelling at you, swearing at you, doing whatever, and after 3 or 4 minutes you say, hey, come on, this has got to stop. Set behavioural boundaries early and consistently. Don't have someone stand there yelling at you, swearing at you, doing whatever, and after 3 or 4 minutes you say, hey, come on, rush home, turn the TV on. Oh, it's cartoon corner, I'm going to watch some cartoons. Nip in the bud, nice and early. And there he is on the cartoon. It's a road run show. Think back to when you're in at school, the bell goes up on top, and rush home, you turn the TV on. Oh, good, it's cartoon corner. And pushes the snowball down the mountain. It's going down the areas on the cartoon. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It goes faster and faster and faster. He's up on top of the mountain. He's making a snowball. It can be the same. And he pushes the snowball down the mountain. It's going down the mountain without check. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It goes faster and faster. I can't help you when you spread and when you speak like that. It needs to stop. It can be the same. I'm not saying I can't help you when you speak like that. You need to stop that early call out. Don't do that. How I can't help you is to swear when you speak to like that. Sounds like you're telling them what to do. I'm not saying I can't help you when you speak like that. You need to stop. Don't do that. It's to stop. That becomes incitatory in the behaviour from the person. Sounds like you're telling them what to do. It doesn't mean they won't blow up, but at least I've reduced the chance. I can't help you when you speak to me like that. I've maintained an openness to stop. I'm separating the behaviour from the person. It doesn't mean they won't blow up, but at least I've reduced. That's not because this person's done. Not at all. I've maintained an openness because when people are upset, they're escalated. Use plain, simple language as a process. That's not because this person's done. Their process is plain, simple language because when people are upset, they've escalated. So don't make it too hard. Pesky has started to take over, and their rational, their processing skills. When to disengage. A situation escalates, for example, if things go from verbally hostile to verbally threatening. That's going to go to a 6-step ladder of aggression. Going from verbally hostile to verbally threatening. When to disengage. If the situation escalates, for example, if things go from verbally hostile to verbally threatening, fear for your safety. If there are 6 steps ladder of aggression, potential tools of violence, hostile to verbally threatening. This becomes personal. Potential tools of violence to consider leaving there. Really? If you fear for your safety, if there are weapons produced or potential tools of violence. Trust will go to all violence. Remember, really, if nothing, it's just nothing else. Remember our friend, that can do without damage, can't it? Trust will go instinct. Okay. Trust will go instinct to the law of self-defense. If nothing So remember, in Victoria, the Crimes Act 1958 covers the whole spectrum of self-defence according to the law of self-defence. Self-defence is lawfully allowed under both criminal law and common law. Crimes Act 1958 covers the whole spectrum of self-defence criteria and all those sorts of reasonable. Self-defence is lawfully allowed under both criminal law and common law definition if necessary. Self-defence is the lawful application of reasonable force, reasonable force under both act of criminal violence. Self-defence is the definition as the self-defence is the lawful application of reasonable force, excessive force, protection from an unprovoked act of criminal violence, application of justified force. There is no such thing. You can act reasonable application preemptively. So the reasonable application of excessive by virtue of those person's words, their actions, reasonable application of justified force in manner. You can act if you are in real danger of being assaulted. If, by virtue of that person's words, their actions can do the menace with threats being used, you cannot continue. You believe if you are in real danger of being assaulted. For outreach work and strategies such as situational awareness, verbal de-escalation, maintaining safe distance, early exit strategies, team communication and dynamic risk assessments are usually for outreach work and strategies such as situational awareness, verbal de-escalation, maintaining safe distance, early exit strategies. Team communication and dynamic risk assessment skills are usually used as better options than physical contact. Understood what time you got the types of options there to manage work through actions and strategies we go through for a win-win. Using your distance, your awareness, your assessment skills, your de-escalation skills. So reasonable force, it must match the threat, be proportionate, legal and it's justifiable. So good outcome for win-win. When you're working on the fence and you're redirecting. But what if you don't get the opportunity to redirect the person's match the threat, be proportionate, legal and hit me, hurt, whatever it might be. And instead of trying to redirect, you're working on the fence and you're redirecting. They've actually launched it. What if you don't get the opportunity to redirect, go from the active fence to the aggressive fence, hit me, hurt me, whatever it might be. And instead of trying to redirect, because they don't have the time, they've actually launched the attack already. You can go from the active fence to the aggressive fence, push them away, create distance, get box breathing and disengage them out of it. It's a great way to go. It's a great way to have excessive emotions under control in a heightened situation. Box breathing is simple. Who's heard of box breathing? Box breathing, you breathe in through it's a great way to go. It's a great way to help bring your emotions under control, hold for 4 seconds. Heightened situation. And you just keep going through that. Between box breathing, you breathe in through the nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Breathe out through your mouth for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. That's one box. And you just keep going through that. To you feel your player box breathing is not like a meditative practice. Emotion is similar, but it's not it. It can be more reasonable, because I don't want you standing in front of the person and go, it's important that box breathing don't do that like a meditative practice. Because you're violating your oath and not 3 days. I can't say it, I don't want you standing in front of an aggressive person and go, well, I'm sight now. Don't do that. Because you're violating your oath, for 3 days. I can't say it didn't work. Okay. How long did you try for? Well, I tried it for 3 or 4 days, maybe a week. Didn't work. Okay. Tell me, what's one other thing you're really good at that you got really good at in a week? So, okay. Oh, how long did you try for? I tried it for 3 or 4 days, maybe a week. Didn't work. Okay. Tell me, what's one other thing you're really good at that you got really good at in a week? The quicker you would listen, you can't put that in your own body. I might go back and practice some more box breathing. Right. It's a skill.
Sorry, so are you suggesting,
The better you get at it,
although you don't do it I suppose, are you suggesting doing that
in your own body.
that flight,
In your own mind.
freeze?
It really goes
So are you suggesting,
nervous system and it's the same.
although you don't do it
And
I
it can't-
suppose,
you don't have to
are
say that.
doing
Okay.
that when that flight, freeze?
Obviously, but it's just it re-engages the sympathetic nervous. The thing is, too, when you're dealing with someone who's and it can't, you don't have to sort of go, okay, best to get them talking and speaking. Ask them open. Obviously, because it's just at a low level what you're talking about. By doing that, you are. The thing is, too, causing them to think about it. I've been asked, mate, do your best to get them. I've been asked an open-ended question. Ask them to think of response now. You're actually re-engaging their. By doing that, you are causing them to think about it. Also, when I start to talk to you, you have to read. I've been asked an open-ended question. They have to think of response now. You're actually re-engaging their prefrontal cortex. There's another form of breathing that. But also when I start to talk to him, he talks about the neuroscientist, based in Ireland, you may have heard of him. And apparently we do this in our... There's another form of breathing that you take in 2 in-breaths. Andrew Huberman talks about in the neuroscientist. Breathe out through your mouth, you may have heard of him. And we will do and apparently we do this in our sleep. You take in 2 in-breaths. It just deep breathe out through your mouth really helps in all cases. It helps you too. We will do that when we're asleep. working split the program, so people do it from the makes it go about 30 seconds, it just decreases the whole thought process. It helps you to come down again. You can't get it to 30, doesn't matter. 10's fine, mate. If it goes about 30 seconds, we switch you long exhale. Controlled or regulated breathing helps us to keep our emotions under control and manage situations more effectively. 10's fine, doesn't matter. Whatever suits you. Risk assessment, putting together a risk assessment plan. Controlled or regulated breathing helps us to keep our emotions under control. These are some things you might consider more effectively. Location. Where is this happening? Risk assessment, putting together a risk assessment plan. Situation up there. Talked about some of this before. These are some things you might consider putting together that plan. Location. Where is this happening? Time. Great. What's the stage there? Is it at night? Probably the extra points for the need. What are the threats to my safety in this area? Those considerations, two things we're going to consider. Visibility is good. So we can say during the daytime. Is it at night? Thought process as well. People I'm dealing with, my plan A and plan B. Exit strategies, cue to activate it, and then back up. Visibility is good. We're working together, we communicate. My thought process before, people I'm dealing with, my plan A and plan B. Exit strategy, cue to activate it, and then back up. Key takeaways. Awareness and assessment, communicate. Distance is your friend. Beforehand, communicate during distance. At least 2 hours with colleagues. If you're dealing with someone who knows. Key takeaways, a colleague, awareness and assessment. Distance is your friend. Within 1 arm's length. What's that distance? At least 2 arm's lengths. But when you're dealing with, if you're dealing with someone who's unknown, if it's a colleague, there is your family member, a loved one, then you can consider back it away a little bit. Within 1 arm's length. Doesn't matter. De-escalation and leave of unsafe. You're dealing with, does anyone have any unknown variable?
Yeah, I was wondering about the closeness,
De-escalation,
especially in a situation.
does anyone have any questions?
We're all going to want to sort of, I was wondering about the closeness, sitting, especially in a situation that we're all going into. We're all going to want to sort of have a
When I say 2 arms length away,
conversation with the person sitting 2 arms
when people are
lengths
sitting,
away.
you're sitting in that diagonal position to them.
The distance
I guess
issue.
from mobile to, thanks for bringing it up. When I say 2 arms length away, I'm talking about when you're standing.
So are you talking about
When
just in the
people are
risk
sitting, you're sitting in
assessment
that diagonal
stage?
position to them. Any situation where you're just from mobile, there's an unknown variable of where that is stand of their emotional state, their
So are you talking about just in the risk assessment stage?
When any situation where you're drawing with someone, there's an unknown variable of where that is their emotional state, their psychology, well-being, so you need to make sure they're safe in that situation, self-abuse, all that. And the more when you get this variable on board, or some of them are on
And then you
board,
can step a little bit.
people are very unpredictable. If you know that person's going to make sure you're safe in that situation. At no point will you get close to that person as listening to exercise before.
And then you can step a little bit.
That's called the intimate zone. That's the zone you know that person can strike you, grab you, take it. At no point will I be as close to that person as we get the physical contact zone, which is where they do that. They can reach you with a, that's called the intimate zone. That's the zone from 2 arms length, strike you, grab you with a leg, and step to still safe. And we get the physical contact zone, which is where they can reach you with a punch fence, so it's 2 arms lengths, hit long as a leg, and moving with it, so you're still safe. It keeps you relaxed, keeps them, but you communicate to, which they're communicating out all the time. Similarly, that fence is not static posture. Hands are even moving all the
Can I
time.
just touch
Which
on
keeps
that?
you relaxed,
This is not
keeps them
how you
relaxed too.
approach
It's never
somebody
looking
like
at
in the winter shelter. You're going to be up close with somebody. So we're here and we're having a conversation. Can I just touch on that?
have I helped
This is not how you approach somebody like
you a cup of
in the
tea?
winter shelter.
You're starting to
You're
get
going be up
aggressive
close
with
with
it.
somebody. So
I'm just
we're
gonna
here and we're having a
slide away
conversation and I'm going to create that gap now because there's some aggression happening here. I've done my risk assessment. But initially,
We're starting
we're
to
not
get
saying
aggressive
walk
with
into
it.
the room and go,
So
hey, you're a homeless person, stay away from me.
That
Obviously, that's not what it's about. So I've done my risk assessment. But initially, we're not saying walk into the room and go, hey, you're a homeless person, stay away from me. Obviously, that's not what it's about. So if we're having a great conversation and I'm not too close, I hope, not giving
So
you
managed doing this,
space,
seeking
although this
permission
person
before
had
doing so, which is important.
I'm going to actually approach you. And then if that becomes, oh, hang on, don't touch me, I don't like it, and it starts
So
to
managed doing
become,
this,
then you
seeking
think, oh, I'm
permission
really sorry,
before
we
doing
need
so,
to
which
get
is
this
important.
space. And you move away, and then if that becomes, oh, hang on, don't touch me, I don't like it, and it starts to become, oh, I'm really sorry, it doesn't make any sense. And you move away for the person's space and for your safety, because you feel that that aggression is coming out. Does that make more sense?
That does.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Any other questions? Yes, that can be a very tricky situation because the aggressive person might perceive them being ganged up upon. So be observant, be supportive of your co-worker. That can be a very tricky situation because the aggressive person might not seem to be required to do so. So you might have a code word. Be observant, be supportive of your co-worker and a trigger for the person. I wouldn't necessarily step in. So you might have a code word without necessarily required to disengage and you take over. You might have only have a one-on-one interaction with your co-worker for some reason has a trigger for the person, verbals, that kind of stuff. At any given time, so you might have a code word with that perception via them to disengage and you take over. But only have a one-on-one interaction there. Any other in terms of verbals, that kind of stuff. At any given time, so there's no perception via the other person being
To just stress, as important as these sessions have been, thank you very much. This is really necessary, important as these sessions have been, the clients will delve on the way of the secretary. This is really necessary, but I want to assure you that the clients, and these guests have been guests by Mary Ann, same guests throughout the entire they have been risk assessed, so they will be providing us with the lowest risk Mary Ann guests. So this probably freaked you out a little bit. What am I walking into here? They will be providing us with the lowest. It's necessary to know because guests. So human beings. This probably freaked you out a little bit. What am I walking into here? It's necessary to know because human beings are unpredictable. So, we will, by the time we commence, we'll have profiles and we can, of course, educate all of us about, So, we will, by the time we commence, we'll have profiles and we can, educate all of these are essential. And, what that each session, there'll be a bit of a group meeting kind of thing. Strategies are essential. There was somebody saying meeting with each session. There'll be a bit of a group meeting and just a strategy around so you don't all run away.
Thanks, Adele. Any more questions?
I just wanted to point that out so you don't all run away.
Session. Thank you. Any more questions? Sean, yes. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Mandy
for today's session.
Thank you for that. Sean, and please, if you have the time, feel free to stay with us. Because now is probably the best. Thank you for that. And I can tell you that, feel free to stay with us. When I first came to Dundora 3 years ago, I was in the shop, and I can tell you that. So that's the sort of stuff you're about Dundora 3 years. This is not a weight loss. I was the shape of the Dell. Okay, so that's the sort of stuff you're about to walk into. This is not a weight loss preparing the lunch stuff's done. We'll be having lunch in the meeting room. That other Naomi and Lena just finished after lunch. The lunch you are free to, as I said, having lunch in the meeting room here. That other, if you're still eating or whatever, that's not an issue. After lunch. You are free to, as I said, bring drinks and stuff here. Each other if you're still eating or whatever, that's not an issue. And after lunch, we'll be going through a bit more stuff. But it's a good chance for us to actually some of the policies each other, and it'll answer a few people. Hopefully, after lunch, some of the angst a bit more stuff about just shelters, just talking about the policies. And it'll answer a few employees. I know that in 7 years of stable gun shelters, and just talking about, they've only ever had 2 expectation. I know that in 7 years of stable 1 shelters, and that was aggression, they've only ever had 2 instances. So it's important that we have this stuff in the back of our mind, and that we practice this stuff as well, so that, and that was aggression, if we need it. So it's actually not stuck so far in the back of our mind we can't find it, and that we practice this stuff as well, so that odds of actually we need it, it's actually not stuck so far in the back of our mind we can't find it. Saying to somebody, possibly have more chance of needing it actually requiring it later on. Are really high. But
I was saying to somebody,
Please stand
possibly
up,
have more chance
grab
of
lunch,
leaving it out
if you go to
and we'll be back,
but probably in about 45 minutes. Please stand up, grab lunch,
So Sean, you said that you do,
we'll be back probably in about